start work, so I got to get up early. So yeah,
Well, I hit the old live button on my own end, so we're probably live right now. Like the stuff
uh,
we're saying right now, it'll
nah,
like
I doubt it.
it'll preload. It's like
Yep, we're
yeah.
live already. I could see it.
So
Mhm. Fantastic. Mhm.
cool. Well,
Well then,
it's Wednesday.
it is Wednesday.
It's the Alaboom.
It
Um,
is.
so what's new? What's exciting? What's amazing? Besides Massive Darkness having massive amounts of funding.
Um, Not a lot. It's and Massive Darkness is consuming my week, obviously, but other than Massive Darkness, I mean, quick plug, it's on Kickstarter right now. It's already funded and it's got 20 days left in the campaign. So if you liked Massive Darkness and you want more Massive Darkness cool stuff, go check it out. Uh, but besides that, really not a lot. I've been kind of just cleaning up the basement, getting rid of some old games, and getting some Ghost of Tsushima in. Been playing a lot of that in my nights as my downtime. Been really loving that game and getting pumped up for Avengers beta weekend. So that's about it for me. I haven't played any board games this week. I probably won't for a couple weeks. The couple people that I've been getting together with over the last few weeks aren't available this week or next week. So I'm just kind of laying low, be chilling
Yeah.
at the homestead. Yep. Yeah, because like I said, we've been very cautiously getting together in small groups, but it's been the same three people that I've been with playing games for like the last month or two, and we only get together once a week. But one of those guys is his son had a baby, and they're gonna drive to go visit him and his wife and the new baby. So he's gonna be gone for 2 weeks. So we're just gonna kind of take a hiatus, fun stuff, stare at the paint some more.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, since our not Massive Darkness Arcana Rising also launched in the same day. We launched a couple hours before you did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we funded an hour, and then I think we're working on our sixth or seventh stretch goal now. So, but
Nice.
everybody's talked about if you're watching this, I'm betting you've heard us, you've heard me blather about Arcana Rising. So I'm gonna do several like streaming things of it. If anybody's like sitting at home and don't have anything better to do and they want to stream the game, and you can do it yourself too, just by going to the tabletop simulator, downloading Arcana Rising out of the workshop. You can knock yourself out that way too. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, I did see that like you guys did some tabletop simulator stuff with it. I think it was. I thought I saw like the Quackalos people like did a thing.
Yeah, they did some stuff. It was I don't know if it was tied in with Gen Con Online. It may have been a separate thing. I know we did some stuff. I remember seeing some videos as well. Marketing team was handling most of that. But yeah, they're starting to embrace tabletop simulator as kind of the way to make up for not having it on a table at conventions. So they've been putting together some versions, like we did a Marvel United thing for San Diego Comic Con and Gen Con with the Tabletop Simulator. We did the whole Ankh preview for a few of our media outlet friends with Tabletop Simulator, and we're starting to embrace it a little more. It's not preferred, obviously. We'd much rather get the game in front of them and playing it in person, but when you have to do what you have to do, Tabletop Simulator is a pretty easy way to get some early gameplay out.
I mean, honestly, I mean, like we had more. I mean, I'm actually, I'm not gonna kiss my own ass here, but I mean, I'm actually pretty proud of how like this one went, as far as like the engagement, and like you get all those analytics and who you get to sign up. I mean, like in the past, like we would get people to like sign up for stuff like, oh hey, if you sign up here, you're gonna get this little like, you'll get this 3 card promo
Mhm.
as a free gift kind of thing. Oh, okay. Well, that you can get people to sign up. Oh, okay, fine. I'll give you this email. I'll give you my junk email. You'll let me know when this thing. But I'll make sure that I get like, I don't have to spend $3 to get this little like 3 card promo set, which, isn't a bad idea. I mean, like cards are relatively cheap,
Yep.
but, and as long as you don't make it an exclusive and like, you can say, oh, hey, you missed out on it. That's too bad. But, $3, you can pay $1 a card, people will usually give you that $3, but we went a different route. And we just kind of like, we just really home grew it this time. And,
Mhm.
and
Well,
like,
it's great. No,
yeah,
I
I mean,
think it's done really well. I mean, I don't know if it's exceeded your expectations at this point, but it looks like it's very well done.
it exceeded my bosses, which is all that matters, right? So um day two is always that day one. I mean, not, this isn't a massive minis game. Day one is always like that feeling of yeah, and then like day two, you're like, and it just like everything like slows to a crawl. Like you're just like there. You never can It's almost impossible to like keep that going or whatever. Yeah, so it's just one of those things. It's yeah, I don't know. But it's, yeah, well, cool. So anyway, go to Kickstarter Arcana Rising. I think it's $34 for the deluxe pledge, and then you get all the bells and whistles, and then you can be happy that you got all the bells and whistles. So
Massive Darkness is not that cheap. I'll tell you that right now.
no,
you're gonna add another 0 to that probably to get everything in our campaign. So if you don't have a lot of money, then you should definitely be checking out Arcana Rising, because Massive Darkness is going to be a little bit more expensive.
back them both. What the heck?
If you can afford to back them both, absolutely back them both. You'll get 2 great games. But
yeah, I still had to have my argument with the person that wanted to say, just like, oh, well, if I buy 2 games, can I get free shipping? No. Why? Why would I? No. And then
it's not like shipping's getting any cheaper. Shipping rates have gone up a lot since the pandemic because everyone's ordering online. Whenever they get overwhelmed and they have to add more people, more staff, more trucks, prices always go up. It's one of the unfortunate circumstances of the industry we're in, is the more shipping rates affect the price and the outcome of what you can charge. It'd be nice in a perfect world. It'd be great to be able to always allow free shipping, but it's just not feasible. Prices have gone up a bunch in the last.
And the part that drives me crazy is that they don't realize that, like, okay, well, let me just pause here for a second. I am not saying that being a backer of a game and like, like, especially if like, oh, we're going to ship to this country, and we're shipping to X country, and like the shipping is like, $16, and you're pledging $34 to get the game to begin with. It's like, yeah, I'm pledging almost half of the cost of that game to get it shipped.
I get that. I can understand being upset with that, but it is what it is. If you live in
exactly. And it's just kind of like, so, that's where we're at, and it's just kind of like, and then I feel like when the people come in, they feel like they know it better than you. Like, oh, well, it should be one of these things where
like you don't run those numbers 100 times a day, right?
yeah. Like we haven't taken the time to like sit there and like, and the thing is that most of the shipping numbers we're subsidizing the shipping anyway. It's like we're already like cutting money off of the top to be able to do it.
I've seen it firsthand. Like I wanted that Star Wars Dark Force Rising game that was a EU exclusive, and it only came out in Europe. And it's the Thanos Rising version, Star Wars version of Thanos Rising. And I had to find a shop over in the UK that would ship to the US to buy it. And I found one. And the shipping for the game was $54. And the game was only $50. So I bought 2 copies because it didn't increase the shipping. And I figured the only way to make up for it would be to get 2 copies. And then I was able to sell one to a friend, and they split the shipping with me. So then it ended up only being like $25. It sucks. Like if I had to really double think, do I really want this game bad enough? Because the shipping is as much, if not more, than the game. Sometimes you have to make that decision. Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is no. But realistically, all games have shipping factored into it. You just don't know it. Like the ones you buy on the retail shelves, their MSRP is set based off what the freight and shipment to the retailers was going to cost the company. So when you buy Kickstarter, you're generally getting it cheaper than the MSRP anyway, because almost all Kickstarter's price, the Kickstarter pricing of the game is usually $5 or $10 cheaper than the SRP. Plus, you're getting stuff that you're not getting. You have to factor all that in. So if you're buying a $100 game and you're usually backing the pledge at $90, you've already saved $10. Plus, you're getting usually a whole bunch of stuff that almost doubles in most games, almost double the content of the base game. All of that is why you're paying that shipping cost. Because if you buy it in retail, obviously you don't pay shipping, but you're going to get a lot less. And I think more people just don't get it and they don't want to get it. But the fact of the matter is, you got to look at everything you're getting in a Kickstarter game versus a retail game. And
well, yeah, and it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, like my old boss at TMG, he always used to say, whenever I deal with somebody expressing their feelings in a way that was rankling my fur, he'd always say, well, let's just be really happy that we create things that people get this passionate about. And I would just be like, you're a better person than me, because I'm I'm having difficulty going that route. But good for you for being able to think of it that way. I guess it's just,
yeah,
I don't know. And I get it. I get it. We all want to have the best possible deal, as as cheap as we possibly can, right? That's what we want. But
I think that's part of the problem with us. Nobody realizes that people make these things. They're worth something,
Mm-hmm.
We just want everything cheap.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful what you pay for too. If you buy your favorite game really cheap and the company that makes that favorite game doesn't make enough money off of it, the chances of seeing extra product for that game, expansions for that game, sequels to that game is just going to be a lot less. So if you really, really love something, I mean, the company's got to be profitable with it, or you're never going to see more content for it. So, that's why I never mind paying full price for something I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I mean, which is why, like, oh, I feel like I'll really enjoy playing that Avengers game. That's why I'll pay $60 for it. Whereas most games that come out for PlayStation or anything like that, I'm like, yeah, I can wait for the Game of the Year edition on this one.
I'll tell you one thing right now. If you haven't bought Ghost of Tsushima yet, that's a game you're going to want to pay full price for. Amazing. I don't know how many people in chat. I know Kabuki plays video games. She's a PlayStation person too, I think. And but I'm telling you right now, Ghost of Tsushima is my game of the year. And this is the same year Maneater came out. And I loved Maneater, and you guys all know how much I love Maneater. But Ghost of Tsushima is simply amazing. It's Red Dead Redemption, Batman Arkham Knight in feudal Japan. Period.
Red Dead Redemption is interesting, but the Arkham Knight thing is, I'm like, Arkham Knight.
It's the combat. It's a very fluid, fast-paced combat system where you can bounce from enemy to enemy and stuff. So, but it also has some of the stealth aspects of, I guess you could also say, Assassin's Creed in a way, because there's some stealth stuff. But the cool thing is, in the game, for the most part, you get to choose how you want to play. You can play like Honorable Samurai and just walk right into the middle of a camp and do standoffs and duels and fight the guys straight up, or you can sneak in and use stealth and just go around murdering everybody. So it's really cool. Very cool. Highly recommend it. It's like I said, I haven't finished Fallen Order yet. I saw Kabuki in chat saying she's still playing Fallen Order. I like Fallen Order a lot. Ghost of Tsushima by far best game of the year. It could very well be the best PlayStation exclusive game ever. And that's after playing Spider-Man and loving that game to the end of the world and back. This game could be slightly better than Spider-Man. It's really close. That's how good this one is. So
for me, Spider-Man was good. It just was annoying to me in a lot of ways.
Some of the mobs were cheesy. Like, Spider-Man's a superhero, and when you're fighting like thugs in a warehouse and certain ones are kicking your ass, it's just like, okay. Spider-Man, I agree. There are certain mob types that if you didn't have the right combo to beat them, they would just wreck you. And it's like, come on, I'm a superhero. Let's tone it down a bit.
Well, then I always get annoyed. It's like there's a fine line between it being too easy to do like the cool flippy attack and making it so difficult that I don't want to have to figure out the button combo to do it, right? where you're like, okay, wait, time, wait, trying to like, figure it out, trying to like get this, that, and the other thing to, and then, I'm sorry, you didn't hit the right like button at the right time, and and after like the fifth time, you're like, screw this.
So that's kind of where I like. That's why I like the way Ghost of Tsushima did it. So yes, it does still have some specific combos, but they're all really easy. It's like 2-button combos or 1-button combo. But the way that they handle like the chess match between different mobs is that you have 4 different stances. So you have like a fire stance, a water stance, a air stance, and a shadow stance. So the stances give you different abilities. So against like guys with shields, you want to take like the earth stance, and that one helps with shield breakers and doing things that help you like disarm your opponent. Whereas like the quicker attacks are like air stance. So if you're fighting a guy with a big 2-handed sword who's got big sweeping slow attacks, you switch to air stance and all of your attacks are quicker and faster. It's like a chess match, and you can switch stances very fluidly because it's just right trigger which pauses the game while you're doing it, or it slows it down really slow, and then you just push up, down, left, or right to change stance. So you can fluidly change stances very quickly, and each stance has its like chess match. It's yin yang, which one will beat what and stuff. So it's really, like I said, it's really well done. And I'm playing it on easy mode because I'm like you, I don't want Dark Souls difficulty, and I want to enjoy the story. I think Keith also, if he gets on, he already beat the game. He also played it on easy mode. And to be honest, with my skill level, easy mode is the perfect difficulty. I was challenged at times. I died a few times throughout the play. I haven't played like just like a superhero, but it's been fun. And there's still been some challenge. Even though it's called easy mode, it's easy mode, but it still presents a decent difficulty. It's just not Dark Souls difficulty. So if for you, based on what you just said, if you do get the game, I would play it on easy difficulty, and not Kurosawa mode, because Kurosawa mode turns it into like black and white and makes it add some difficulty. Play it on normal mode, play it on the normal colored mode, play it on the easier difficulty, the story difficulty, and it's just about right.
Yeah. My big thing was also, it's like the like the weird the level to get to get games like where they are like they give you enough friction to make you feel like you're earning what you do,
Mm-hmm.
but like not so much that I'm like I have to devote like an hour just to figure out. Like sports games are like that for me, where it's like, oh, like I'm playing, like I play baseball MLB 20, and I really enjoy. I've always enjoyed playing baseball sports games, always do. But like MLB, it's like there's a certain level where it's either like my guy, like when I create a character, I always like create a character and then like bring him up through the minors and everything like that. Well, it's like it seems like I always either have a guy that bats 450 with 100 home runs, or I'm batting 217. Just like looking like a moron. I just, oh man, I just, so it's like, where's the middle? There should be like a middle spot on this. Why can't I find that middle spot?
Sports games are always difficult. Like I do the same thing because I play Madden, kind of like the way you play baseball. I play it every year, regardless how crappy or good it is, and you play on All Pro, which is like there's rookie, there's All Pro, there's like Pro, and then All Madden. So usually the difficulty level is like All Pro in the beginning of the game, and then we move up to like Simulation Pro, and it's just like one game you'll win 55-7, and then the next game you'll win 21-14. It's like, it's just gauging where the AI, how well they tweak the AI and stuff. So every year it's different. Every year we start off on All Pro, and by the end of the year we're like, this is too easy, and we're winning by 30 points, and we got to up the difficulty. It's tough. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and with football it's weird too, because if you actually do like 15-minute quarters, like your scores are through the roof.
Oh yeah, no. In Madden, the tournament simulation is 6-minute quarters, and that simulates scores that would be what you'd normally see in a regular football game. But the stats never rank up. Like in 6-minute quarters, you're gonna be throwing for. You're either throwing for 400 yards or you're rushing for 150 yards, but you're not doing both. Like in a normal game, you could have a quarterback throw for 400 yards and a rusher rush for 150 yards. But generally, unless you're playing against it on an easy difficulty, you're not going to get that. it's score wise, you're still scoring the same amount of times, but you're doing it in less drives, so you're not racking up all the yardage. So it's weird. They've never really found the perfect balance. I wish they would, because I'd love to see like real true simulation football. It's still more arcadey.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain joy, to hitting 100 home runs in a season, but I mean, but after a while it gets a little dull, Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's just maybe games are weird like that. I mean, and I do like that they've started to incorporate, like you said, a story mode where it's like, hey, we're going to give you the story. The game isn't going to be as tough, but you're going to be able to experience the show basically.
Yeah. I like that a lot, and like I said, that's the one thing I really liked about Ghost of Tsushima so far. I'm 3-act game. I just finished Act 2. I'm about an hour into Act 3, but right up front, it's like play story mode if you really want to enjoy all of the story and have a challenge, but not be too difficult. Then they add the hard mode, which is very, very challenging, and now they've got like deadly mode, which is like that's like your Bloodborne, Dark Souls kind of difficulty where your damage is extremely high, but all the enemy's damage is also extremely high. Like you get hit with a sword and you're dead. That kind of difficulty. And to me, that's just more frustration than it would be fun. For me, I want to enjoy the story. I want to feel a little kind of superhuman almost.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be easy mode where I can just walk into a group of 50 people and slaughter them all. That won't happen. You'll get killed even in the easy mode. You have to still have some strategy and tactics. So it's perfect for me.
Here's the ridiculous thing for me is that you mentioned Red Dead Redemption 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like remember how I told you how I played the game? Like I was like, yo, I'm not gonna move forward in the story until I've got until I've made every single outfit that I possibly can.
Poor Lance, we're all done with the story and in multiplayer and all talking, and he's still trudging along and
I'm still in like Act 1.5. I still every once in a while I'll like pick it up and I'll play it for about a week or two, still trying to I need 3 more rattlesnake skins.
We have not been able to in our Facebook group talk about Red Dead Redemption since its release because Lance hasn't finished the story yet.
Well, at this point, I think most of it's been
for a year in
spoiled
this
for
game.
me. I think most of it's been spoiled for me at this point. But I mean,
oh, you've seen too much already.
Well, no, people say stuff in passing, right? Just kind of or like you scroll by a YouTube video that has a title on it.
Right.
Yeah. Just like
it is a great story though. I'm going to be really excited the day you say you finish it because you're going to have so much to talk about that we've been wanting to talk to you about for like the last 11 months.
It's weird. It's like I need like 4 more Oriole feathers and 2 more this, and then I realize that there's some stuff where it's like I have delved a little bit into it. It's like, oh, I eventually do go to Mexico and I get some sort of
you know what though?
That's where I'll get the Gila monsters. Okay.
How much value have you gotten from that game? Like how many hours? You've probably put in 100 hours into that game so far, haven't you?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah. So you literally paid like 60 cents, 70 cents an hour for that kind of entertainment. You can't find a better value in your time.
And here's the deal. The thing is they just did an update for the normal mode that that's the reason
added more stuff, right?
Well, no, they added a weapons locker, so you don't have to carry all of your weapons with you. So
nice.
So yeah, I was just like, oh well, I don't need to carry. I only use this pistol. I only use this rifle. I only use So it's just done. I can just.
Yeah, they added a bunch of stuff to the PC version. You can basically play the whole game in PC with friends too. It's you can have a posse and run around and almost 2/3 of the game is available in multiplayer. So you can run around and you can build a business as a trapper, or you can be a rustler, or it's really cool. I kind of almost wish I hadn't beaten it so soon because I'm kind of done with the game now, right? I've played a lot of the multiplayer. I've beaten the game. But now when it came out on PC, man, they just added so much extra content to it. I could probably start the game over again and it'd feel like a whole new game other than the actual story that I know how it goes. It's
yeah. Have you seen there's this challenge that people have? I think it's for Red Dead Redemption where you have to there's a spot on one side of the map where you can get your bowl of stew, and then you have to carry that bowl of stew walking all the way to the other side of the map, and literally you can't. Yeah, and people have mapped out where you have to go because you can't go in any water. and then you can't ride a horse. You can't, because you get rid of it. You throw it on the ground or whatever. So like you just sit there and have to like, oh hey, Roy's all, if Roy wants in. This
I
Roy,
think
if you
he's
want
laying in
in, I
bed.
can, he's
He said he's sleeping.
okay. No, yeah. So yeah, like people, like you can go on video. They just walking slowly but surely. Like you got to carry
So
your
the goal is
stew.
to get from one end of the map to the other without
And
spilling the bowl of chili.
yeah, the bowl of
Stew.
chili or the bowl of stew or whatever it is that you pick up, and it's it's pretty
Nice.
hilarious. Just like the things people will do. It's like, I'm gonna see if I can do this.
So this Avengers game, though, I am quite hyped about. I know the story is not going to be nearly as good as Ghost of Tsushima or Red Dead because it's not that long, but I'm real excited about multiplayer because it's been a long time since I've played a multiplayer Marvel superheroes game. I mean, I've got Marvel Ultimate Alliance for the Switch, but I just don't have a lot of people that actually want to play that. I've posted a couple times on Facebook, hey, getting ready to play Marvel Ultimate Alliance if anyone wants to play, and no one ever takes me up on it. So this one, though, I think is going to do really well, and I've already got a lot of content coming down the road. So I'm looking forward to playing this one. I think this will be a fun game to play with 4 people in like co-op, smashing stuff around and stuff. So I'm hoping, at least I have hopes, because I need something to keep me busy until Star Wars Squadrons comes out in October. And this is it.
Yeah, yeah, Avengers should be fun, and plus it looks like the whatever like loot box system they have, it's not like in-game stuff. It's
No,
just
it's so basically the way it works is you go in the game, you do missions and multiplayer, and there'll be chests, lockers and stuff around there that you can get items, but the items are just basically upgrades to your gear. So you may get Iron Man may get a different pair of gauntlets that gives them a boost and stuff, but it's all in-game stuff. You don't pay any money for it. It's just you beat a mission. When you beat this mission, you'll have access to these 3 chests that everyone can open, and they all get their own stuff. You don't have to, there's no monetization to the gameplay stuff. The only monetization in the store is like, if you don't like the costume that you have, you can buy a different one, and they'll have like, I think they showed the prices on it, and it wasn't too bad either. It's like if you wanted a different skin for your Hulk, you could get the Gladiator Hulk skin, and it was like 1,000 points, which is like maybe $5 or $6. So it's like not horribly expensive. I'm sure they'll have tons of costumes. The guy who has
that's how they get you, though. That's how they get you.
If you got to have them all. I'm not one for costumes. I find the one I really like and go with it, and I'm not one for that. But the good thing is, being a PlayStation player, you're going to get a lot of free shit too. Like they're already saying each character on PlayStation gets like a free outfit, as well, a free extra outfit, as well as free currency every time a new character comes out and stuff. So you won't have to spend as much. Plus you get Spider-Man in February, which is pretty cool too. So
I know that like Keith won't be here tonight because he's like neck deep in Warzone playing that. Him and Aldi are. And that's like everything else that's there.
He's been trying to get me to play that for weeks now. I just keep resisting.
No, and like it's first person shooting or whatever, but you have like loot box stuff and stuff in that one. Like you get gear, but the gear doesn't, like, it's just cosmetics, right?
Yeah, that's kind of how Marvel's doing.
And I was totally like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's like, and or they're like, oh, they're little animations your character does when like you win, or animations of like the killing blow. Like there's things, if you're close to somebody, you can hit like an E button or something, and you'll do something dramatic to finish them off, kind of thing, And I was talking to Aldi about it, and I was just like, well, that seems kind of silly. He's like, yeah, I've already spent like $100.
Maybe we shouldn't get Aldi into Avengers. He may blow his wad on alternate costumes that are not necessary.
Yeah.
Although I will say the one thing they do have in the store that it's cosmetic, but it's also not cosmetic, is they call these the takedowns. So basically, a takedown is kind of like your fastball special. So everyone's got like a finisher, like a special move that's like super damaging, high power, but they have cosmetic versions of that ability that you can get that change how you do it. So like you'll have maybe like the Hulk one where he grabs you by the foot and smacks you around like he did with Loki in Avengers. That would be a takedown where you can like high damage. But if you don't buy the cosmetic one, it may just be him punching somebody really hard or slamming them to the ground. But then you can get the special one that has him do something silly or fun. So they will have some of that stuff. But
that sounds all like the finisher stuff that's on that's on like it was on Apex too, or was that
Yeah,
Apex?
Mortal Kombat did something similar too, where you could buy different finishing moves from their crypt system and stuff. All the games are kind of going to that now. I think they've realized that monetizing game content is bad. Cosmetics people don't seem to care about. So if monetizing like different moves or costumes or colors or dyes and that kind of stuff, people could give a crap about because the majority of players are just going to get the free stuff and maybe buy one or two things if they really like the game to support it. But
Well, look at how much
paywalling
money Fortnite made by just it's like
cosmetics.
yeah, and I don't even remember we're like what is it 2 years ago? That's the only game anybody talked about. It was like Fortnite.
But that's the thing. If you put out a good product, people will support it even if it's shit they don't want. Like if this Avengers game turns out to be amazing, then I'll probably buy skins just to have them to support the game so that they keep making more characters. Because right now they've got a 2-year roadmap, and they said anything after that will be dependent on how successful the game is, how many copies are sold, and how well their only cosmetics monetization helps fund the game for future content. If I like the game, I'll spend money on it. They come out with some of my favorite characters, like when Spidey comes out. Damn well, if they have a black suit Spider-Man, I'm going to get that costume because I'll support them putting out the character. And same thing with like Black Panther. I'll probably get 2 or 3 different outfits for him.
No, as soon as they put Wonder Man in there, then I'll care.
Wonder Man. No, they got Miss Marvel, who's kind of got similar powers, but yeah, I don't know if Wonder Man's
No. Wonder Man was made out of ionic energy. He couldn't fly. He was basically like immortal, and he could he could trade punches with the Hulk. But other than that, he was just ionic energy. Like
they did say in an announcement today that they had a lot of characters planned that no one's seen coming. That makes me think they're going to dive deep into Avengers lore and pull some characters out that maybe people aren't expecting. Like everyone's expecting. Hawkeye was already announced. That's the first free character you get after launch. Spider-Man is the second free character. He's coming like a month later. So like January is Hawkeye, and February, or actually Hawkeye maybe 2020. In January, February of 2021 is Spider-Man. But then people are expecting Black Panther's probably going to be one of the first few characters because he's very popular right now and he's one of the main Avengers in the MCU. But then once you get past that, they could go anywhere. I mean, you could see Scarlet Witch, you could see Vision, you could see Winter Soldier, you could see, the Ant-Man, Wasp. I mean, you could go anywhere. Black Knight. I mean, there's so many different places you could go. People that have been on the Avengers roster, and if they go deep, I think I'm going to enjoy it even more because you don't usually get to play those obscure characters, and it would be cool to see that kind of stuff hit the game.
Hercules. Put Hercules. Hercules was a West Coast Avenger.
He was awesome. A West Coast. Yeah, West Coast Avengers would be cool because honestly, this game takes place in San Francisco, so technically it's kind of like the West Coast Avengers because it all takes place on the West Coast of the United States. So
it was the West Coast Avengers were Hawkeye, Tigra, Mockingbird, Scarlet Witch, Wonder Man.
You remember that beginning West Coast Avengers 4-issue miniseries?
That's that was somewhere the first. Somewhere in my mom's basement.
I had that 4-issue miniseries. That was my first introduction to the West Coast Avengers and my first real introduction to like Hawkeye. Like I wasn't even, it was interesting. I never really read Avengers. That was like my first Avengers stuff that I actually read. It was that West Coast Avengers 4-issue miniseries because it came out when I was still young enough and still really heavy into physical comics. So, yeah, good stuff. I'm looking forward. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I look at no Avengers movies, not a lot of big hits. A lot of the big games got pushed back to later in the year. This one didn't. This one's going to have my attention for a few months, at least till Squadrons hits. And then after Squadrons, we only have a month before Cyberpunk. So it's going to be like a rock and roll and end of the year, plus new consoles this year. So it's going to be pretty crazy year. This will be the first year in a long time that I've bought more video games than board games. And that never happens. But this year will probably be pretty close by the end of the year. Because I've already bought like 15 different games when you count some of the Steam stuff I got on the Steam sale. I've probably bought 15 video games this year. I don't think I've bought more than 7 or 8 board games.
Oh yeah.
Which is very off. Yeah. Other than the stuff that's come out of Target, I really haven't bought anything else. I'm not including like packs of Marvel Champions that come out, once a month or any of that stuff. I'm talking about actual board games. I bought 3 on Father's Day. I got 2 or 3 more since then. So I've maybe bought 7 board games this year. That's it. 7. I usually get that in one show. I get like double that in one show. But without the shows and stuff, I mean, I got a few freebies at like Gamma and Toy Fair, but I have only bought I've only physically gone to the store and bought maybe 7 or 8 board games this year. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's been an off year. Well, a lot of stuff got held back and a lot of stuff got pushed back. So there was a good 2 or 3 months where there just wasn't a lot coming out. But on top of that, it's just been, what's the incentive to buy stuff that maybe would normally be an impulse buy? I'd go to the store and play games all day and maybe buy something. I'm not at the store and I don't have many people to play it with. So I don't need to buy 10 games this month when I'm only going to have maybe 2 game days for maybe 2 hours each. So I'm only going to get maybe 2 or 3 games played. So it's really killed my desire. So I've been more getting rid of stuff and clearing out room than I've been buying. I've actually sold more games this year than I bought by a lot. Probably sold about 50 games this year so far. I've got my collection down. I'm getting ever closer to the 300 limit, which I wanted to have by the end of the year. I was at like 460 last year, and I'm down to about 400 now, I think. So yeah.
I'm trying to think. I need to, yeah. My local game store is doing their yearly nerdy rummage sale, which is a good way for me to get rid of stuff. They're doing it outside, so you can't, and so they're going to rope off their parking lot. So it'll be like, it's a good way for me to just go there and make some quick cash. I got to decide if I want to do it or not. Costs like $40 for a table. So
I wish I could do that. That's the best way to do it. I went to Tantrum Con last year. Actually, it was this year. It was like January. I got rid of like 40 games in like one day because it was so easy just to be able to sell stuff. They had it in January. It was right before the pandemic hit. That was the last show I went to not as an employee, just went to the show to go to the show. I love the flea market because I was able to, because you end up selling stuff really what you should sell it for. When you're trying to sell it online, you're always like haggling for an extra buck. And I got rid of 40 something games in like 1 3 hour flea market. It was awesome. I would love to do another one of those, but I just don't see it happening. I've been eBaying, which sucks because you got to spend time and you lose 10% to PayPal and 10% to eBay, and you're making 20 less percent and your auctions aren't selling for what you want, and then you got to still deal with shipping and stuff. But it's been the safest way. I've been just putting up like 1 or 2 games a week, and then when they're sold, I put up 2 more, and I've just been every week. I'm going to do that every week through it for the rest of the year. I figure if I sell 2 games a week, for the rest of the year, I'll be down to the 300 games I want by the end of the year. So that's it. 7-day auctions. I put them at like a super low price, and whatever they end up at, they end up at.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I just, of course, just because of like today, my doctor told me to, they hadn't checked my thyroid levels in a while, so they were like, you need to come in and we need some blood so I can see if we need to change your prescription. And I was like, all right, whatever. So, and I live in Minnesota, and Minnesota is the governor said you have to wear a mask. Just said if you're out and you're about and you are anywhere, you gotta wear a mask. I'm not trying to be political. I just want to basically get this out. But North Dakota has had no such comments, no such things. It's just kind of like Wild West. And the county that's right next to the Clay County, which is where I live, Cass County is the North Dakota county. Cass County is like exponential. It is like it's listed like the state of North Dakota is listed in red for like coronavirus cases because of Cass County, because it's going through the roof. It's where most of the population of North Dakota is, and people just are just going about their normal lives. They're like, la da da, doesn't matter. And so anyway, annoying, but so I went to a freaking hospital, and on the outside of the hospital it says, you have to have a mask to enter. If you don't have a mask, go to the left. A nurse will give you a mask. You have to use hand sanitizer when you come in. All these things. There's like a big sign, basically tells you exactly what you have to do just to even get into the hospital. So thing about the hospital, like going to the lab, I don't have to go see a doctor, don't have to do anything. I go in, take an elevator, go up to the floor at the lab, walk into the lab, just say I'm here to give you some blood. Lady comes over, jabs a needle in my arm. I'm out of there usually super fast. Like, I walked in, I had my own mask, I used the hand sanitizer, just went through the process. Like within 5 minutes of being in there, people like just had the mask that the nurse gave them in their hands, walking down the hallways. People just walking right by the hand sanitizer you're supposed to be using in every single spot. And I was just like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here right now. I need to give my blood. I need to get out of here. I feel like every second I stay in here, I'm like dealing with because these are the people that are going to like get me sick. I just absolutely hated being there. And just like, I was paranoid about it the entire time I was there. And then I finally was able to leave, which I was thankful, but man, oh man, I just did not want to be there at all. But anyway, yeah, that's my awesome story. Just, yeah, it was so annoying.
It's gonna be one of those weird years. I feel like at the end of this year,
Gonna be.
Yeah. Well, there's still hope that we can look back on this year as one big learning experience.
Don't bury the ever happy voice of reason.
Stupid chimps. We don't learn. Yeah.
No.
The Spanish flu lasted 2 years. There was 4 outbreaks of it. Okay. Because of shit like this, people not listening and get back together. Everybody wants to argue. Like, I was out walking earlier this week, and I had a mask on, but I took it off to drink some water. And I was trying to breathe. Shit. A lady comes. I was in the middle of the street. A lady comes on the sidewalk with a mask and stops, takes her mask down, and starts yelling at me that I don't have a mask on. All right. I say, look, lady, I had the mask, water, some air, I'm gonna put it back on, walk back down the street. She kept arguing. I'm like, you're 25 fucking feet away from me. Okay. If you had not stopped to pull your mask down and bitch at me, you would have been 20 feet behind me. What are you trying to accomplish here? All right. I put the fucking mask on. Chill.
Did you see the video of the old lady who got thrown down by the girl because she wouldn't wear a mask?
No, really?
There was a video that hit the news. I can't remember. My wife showed it, but there was an elderly lady walking with a cane, and apparently another lady, younger lady, walked by her and had her mask pulled down to her chin. So she was wearing it. And the lady asked her if she could pull her mask up, and they got in a verbal thing. And then the younger lady grabbed the old lady by the cane and slammed her down on the ground and walked away. It was pretty violent. It was pretty bad. I don't know what was said, and I don't know what that old lady said, but she apparently pushed the right buttons because that girl just threw her down to the ground. If you Google it, you'll see it. It's pretty bad. And I mean, they don't have audio, so you really don't know what's said, but the gist from the reporters was that the girl was walking close to her with her mask basically pulled down, so she wasn't really wearing it. She had it on, but she wasn't wearing it. And the old lady asked her to pull her mask up, and she just took offense to it. And next thing you know, old lady slammed on the ground. Can't get up.
And well, that's the other thing that drives me crazy too, is like, so the hospital's in downtown Fargo.
I'll see if I can find the video for you. I'll link it in
the hospital's in downtown Fargo, and the like downtown Fargo is nothing but little tiny cafes and little restaurants and little bistros that have outdoor seating. And all these people, like groups of like 8, 9, 10 people coming from an office, just sitting down, having their lunch, over lunch break, and none of them are doing any social distancing. And I'm like, oh my, just, I'm just, yeah, what is going on? But I mean, that's fine. I mean, why should I be stunned? I guess I shouldn't be surprised at any of this at this point, right? I shouldn't be, it's
Yeah.
just, it's, old
I
man
was
screaming at
think-
clouds.
I was thinking about that, like these Asian countries, Japan, Korea, and all that.
Yeah,
They
good
lock
audience.
down right away, and the people there listen.
It's in chat.
It's
They did listen.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's amazing how culturally different we are. That they're so obedient, and we just can't agree on anything.
Well, and I'll say this, and I hate saying this, but if anybody thinks we're actually going to play football this year,
Yeah.
after all the shit that's going on with baseball, like they can't, just like, oh, and we've had another outbreak, and there's going to have to be. I mean, they might try to start it, right? But they're going to have to do what basketball's doing, where it's like, yeah, you basically imprison the players and like restrict their movements, and
Yeah.
which the players aren't going to want to do.
Uh-huh.
And then they're going to have to also basically take they're going to have it's usually a 40-man roster. I mean, they're going to have to make that like a 60-man roster, just basically to handle the fact that like, oh, it's like, well, these your entire offensive line is sick, so we're gonna, and wait a minute, like all of your team was in close contact with all of your team, so we're gonna wait 2 weeks to play the game. And then here's the crazy thing, like fantasy football, what do you do then? Like if somebody's like,
someone gets ruled out 2 minutes before a game because they tested positive.
Not that. What if a game just isn't played on a weekend? Yeah, sorry, the New Orleans Saints Kansas City Chiefs game isn't going to be played because like 35 people are in quarantine now.
Well, that's what they did in baseball, right? Didn't they have a baseball game that got postponed? So
well, yeah, but
baseball, is that even going on?
Baseball's a little different because you get to actually accept the stats of the players over the course of the season, right? Fantasy football, you have head-to-head battles where it's just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I got Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Drew Brees. If New Orleans and Kansas City don't play, I'm screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I don't even know that it. I mean, and of course it figures, right? The 1 year my team is poised to make a deep playoff run, we'll end up having the season canceled on us, but. I don't know.
That's your fault for playing a legacy team. So, like, you should just, throw all the players back into the pile every year. That's the only way to play fantasy football.
Yeah.
Richard Ham's slowly but surely connecting.
Looks like he's at problems with his
He must be getting out and pushing.
Well, you know how it is.
So
he lives on the West Coast. The internet's not as good there.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus is putting Mulan out.
Oh man, I knew this was going to come up.
Yeah, I'm curious of your thoughts.
I don't know what to do. I wanted to see the movie. I'd love to get it for my family, and if I bought it and all three, me, my wife, and my daughter sat and watched it, be basically paying $10 a piece to see it. Which, when you say it like that, doesn't sound too bad because a movie ticket's going to be at least that much. Plus,
do you get it for a weekend though? I mean,
I don't even know the specifics. All I know though is that for a pay-per-view, that's pretty high, right? Like now you're talking like boxing match, wrestling, those things cost $30, $40, $50. Usually you get a pay-per-view movie, it's like $6, $7 and you get one viewing, but they're going for 30 for Mulan.
Well, no, this is what they're saying is if you have Disney Plus, you'll pay the $6.95 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you spend the additional $30 on this Mulan, you keep that movie as long as you have Disney Plus.
Oh, so it's almost like you're buying a digital copy of the movie as long as you keep the service.
Right.
All right, that's a little different still, but still, I mean, how many times are you going to watch Mulan? I mean, are you going to watch it more than once or twice?
For me, I mean, this is for me. It's like, yeah, I'll just wait for it to be $10 because there's going to be like a weekend where it's going to be like,
oh, it'll be on sale at Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be like, oh yeah, you can get this, blah, and it's just.
But I get it, right? Like if it was Black Widow, would I still feel the same way? Probably not. I'd probably drop that $30 down right now because it's a bigger movie for me. But and that may happen. Like you may.
What movie?
I actually think they're testing the waters with this.
Can you still not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, Richard.
hooray. Hello.
Yeah, so Mulan, I don't know. For Mulan, I don't know that I'd pay $30, but for Black Widow, I probably would because I'm a bigger Marvel fan.
Oh,
Well,
Mulan,
here's my
direct
problem. Here's
Disney
my,
Plus is going to be pay for you.
yeah.
It's $30 to unlock it for life.
But here's the problem I have with it
Oh.
is that, like, okay, so it's the live action Disney movies, right?
Right.
Well, maybe if the Aladdin movie hadn't been such a turd, I mean, it's like it wasn't good. It wasn't good, right?
But they're saying this movie's really good. Like the initial reviews, the critic reviews said the movie was pretty good. Like it's really well done for live action. So I'm torn because I never even saw the animated version of it, and I wanted to see. This was one of the movies I was gonna, if things were back to normal, this would have been one we would have went and saw. So
I'm sorry, were you just saying that it's not available to rent? It's only available to buy online.
if you have Disney Plus, you can pay $30 and it unlocks Mulan on your Disney Plus account. Apparently, according to Barry, it unlocks it forever. So
As
it
long as
becomes
you have
part of
it.
your normal stream. But if you don't pay the $30, it's not available to watch.
Well, it'll be on other. What are they called?
Oh, like Netflix and all the other stuff.
I think like Amazon and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's supposed to open in theaters where it can.
Okay.
And,
So they're just artificially saying $30 is equal to paying the movie ticket price plus whatever to go see it in a theater.
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean,
but I'm curious if you have Disney Plus and you didn't buy this, eventually it's going to come out on Disney Plus.
you maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
but I guess for a family of 6, $30 is probably pretty cheap, but if you're just watching, if you're a single person and likes Disney and you're at home, are you really going to pay $30 to watch a movie by yourself?
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
tough.
so.
I can see both arguments. Like, yeah, sure, it would cost way more than that for me to take my wife and daughter to the movie theaters to see it, but still, I mean, and if I bought the Blu-ray in Target, it would be $24, and I would just get the digital version.
Who buys physical media anymore?
But I'm saying I get the pricing to a certain degree. I don't know. I just don't know that Mulan's enough to make me pay that. Like I said, if it was Black Widow, I'd probably already have done it. But I don't think Mulan's going to make me drop $30. I want to see it. Maybe if it gets down to 15 or something, I may do it. But
Well, how does
yeah,
your
it'll be one of
family
those
feel
things where
about
if it was like a weekend, it's like, it's like, hey, for 10, like, would you buy it for like $5 on a weekend?
oh yeah, at that price, it's cheaper than a movie ticket. But
See,
right
that's the thing that's weird for me is that Amazon, like, you search something on Amazon Prime for like, and then like, oh yeah, well,
Are they up for it?
well, no, like they'll have like, you can get that for $3.99 and you can rent it or whatever, and like I think you get it for like 3 days,
and for
or
like
something.
$1 more, you can buy it and own it on your like Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's like I haven't done that once. I'm just always like,
I did.
nah.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I bought my first Amazon movie. I was sitting around a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, man, I just want some bit of nostalgia. So I searched for Meatballs. I was trying to see where Meatballs was playing. I looked on Netflix. I looked everywhere. Meatballs wasn't anywhere, and I found it was on Prime Video. It was $3.99 to rent and like $4.50 to buy it outright and just have it on your Amazon library. So I paid the $4.50 and I watched Meatballs, and it brought back a little bit.
Are you
of my
ready
youth.
for the summer?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the
So
sunshine?
it was the first time I did it, and it was fun, and it was like a trip down memory lane. There's plenty of movies of that era, like Stripes and all that.
It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
It was a great movie, and I laughed my ass off. But yeah, it was the first time I did it. But that's a very reasonable price for a movie that old.
Apparently, you could have watched it for free with ads on YouTube.
I didn't even think to look at YouTube, but yeah, I'm fine paying $4 to have it.
JustWatch.com is my favorite website.
Oh, you watch with
anything,
ads?
It tells you every place you can get it and how much it costs. TV shows or movies.
Huh, interesting.
Way back in the day, one of my favorite websites like that was called Fetchbook, where you typed in the ISBN number and it would search. It basically did a Google price search, for you. But it shows you all these stupid little used bookstores in the middle of nowhere who would send you the book for media mail. Yeah, you could find, and I think it still exists. Fetchbook still exists, but yeah, Fetchbook was great. You just, oh, I really want this book, and then like, oh, it's out of print. Oh, Fetchbook. Oh, well, like, Uncle Bob's used bookstore in Tucson has it for $3, and he'll sell it to me for, he'll ship it to me for $2. Done and done.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, it's so weird. Like I saw, remember we were talking about used DVD stores and stuff like that. I think we were talking about that an episode or two ago. I don't remember, but I was like, God, those places are drying up and dying. Like a new one just opened up in Fargo. It's
Second
like
and Charles does a huge business for us here, and that's all they deal with is used like books, movies, and video games and stuff. They're huge.
I mean,
that's
it's
probably where I'll sell my whole physical collection. We'll probably end up going there.
Like I said, I remember the day I brought in all my old DVDs, and we're just like, yeah, you can have all of these. And they're like, oh, seriously? And like it's like if you brought them in bits and pieces, we'd probably give you more. Just take them. Just I don't care. Just like I probably left $100 or $2 on the table, but I was just happy to get rid of the boxes of old DVDs.
But what if DVDs come automatically? It's like records.
Yeah, man. What if?
I don't know that DVDs would.
Yeah, I don't either.
I honestly feel like physical media, when it comes to, for whatever reason, vinyl has stuck around a lot longer than I thought it would. But I think the days of buying a CD for music are gone. And I think we're getting really close to the end of the DVD, Blu-ray, HD disc. I think it's all going to be digital.
Vinyl is having a little bit of an explosion because of
is it the artistry of the album covers?
Yeah, the artistry of the album covers, and I mean it's it's just like, and also now like the fact that they create they create shortages. So it's like, oh, do you want one of these 500 first pressing with the marble earth color, vinyl, so it's the vinyl itself is like all these different colors and what have you on them. So it's just like, it's just like they prey on that. Oh, well, will the standard black vinyl album sound exactly the same? Yes.
Well, there are some people that actually like the sound of vinyl albums.
It sounds warmer. It does. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. It is a better sounding. It sounds way better.
Tones.
Yeah. I mean,
the only album I own is the original Jaws soundtrack on vinyl. It was the Mondo print with the extra.
I have my old school hi-fi behind me. I mean, it's just like, and I had my guy, just research, and like he's like, yep, nope, this is what you want. He came over and set everything up for me, and
I just don't have the space for it. I don't have the space for another collection of something. I barely got enough space for what I got. I couldn't even if I wanted to. I couldn't collect vinyl. It just takes
one of the things that, hey, Tom Vassell, everybody. One of the things that that I am upset about. I mean, I shouldn't say upset about. One of the things that bothers me a little bit is the fact that, like, basically with everybody still at the house, I am unable to basically listen to my like Zeppelin records and shake the walls of the house, just because. Because everybody else in the house, they're always like, the few times that I've actually listened to my music, listen to it loud, in about like 5 minutes, my kids come downstairs and they're like, turn it off, it's too loud. Wait a minute, you're the young kids. You're supposed to be telling me it's too loud. That doesn't make any sense at all. Tommy V.
Vassal, would you pay $30 to watch Mulan 2020 in the comfort of your home with your family?
Good question. I'm actually still considering that. I've paid for a couple of the other ones, and I would pay more than that for my whole family to go to the movies.
See, his situation is much different because he's got like 5 or 6 people watching it, maybe more. At that point, $30 sounds legit, but
you're not sharing your Disney Plus account with anybody?
No. Well, I mean, Tom Vassell, he's got like 27 kids though, so like at that point, it's only like a dime a child, right?
Hey, what are we talking about? Sharing Disney?
My in-laws have our Disney password. They have their own login. Every time I go into Disney Plus, I have to choose whether it's the ham login or the bumps log in. They have their own icon. I think it's an elephant.
I'm not convinced that that's legal, but
Yeah, I think that's meant for inner house, like if your kids have a
Yeah,
separate account and
family.
you're.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fam.
Let's call the internet police on him.
I don't share
no,
my
that's
account.
fine. You're just asking me if I do it, and I'm saying no.
No.
No, I was
That's-
actually showing that to Pete. I would.
Yeah, no, I don't. But I mean, for me, if I bought Mulan, it'd be $30. It's me, my wife, maybe my daughter would watch it. That's it. It's the three of us. We'd watch it once, and then it would sit in that library, maybe get a second watch, and that's it. But
And only as long as you keep paying $6 a month
well, I don't pay $6 a month. I pay $3
or
a
whatever,
month for
or
Disney
whatever it is.
Plus.
Yeah, depending on your.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Why should I pay to watch it now when I know I'll be able to watch it in 6 months?
Do you think it's going to be released there fully for a while?
Oh,
Like, I think it's going to have
totally.
like a year exclusivity, or else they're never going to make their money off it.
Well, okay, so let's say it has a year. Who cares?
Yeah. If it was Black Widow, like I said earlier, done. I'm going to
Oh,
do it.
Black Widow, I pay 50 for.
I would probably pay 52 just because I want to see that dang movie. But Mulan doesn't have enough pull for me. You know, my daughter's not that.
Well,
into it.
the reason you pay for Milan now is so they'll say, "Oh, this was a success. Let's do Black Widow next."
That is true. That is
Go.
a good point.
No, don't fall for that nonsense. That's
I mean, if
blackmail.
I
Mulan
almost had him.
tanks, if Mulan
was about to get my
tanks, then the
sweet
chances
under
of
the
Black
table
Widow coming out
$15
digitally like that is a lot less. But
You know, I've been thinking about it. I'm actually glad. I like movies and stuff like the next person. I'm glad Avengers Endgame happened. It's
yeah,
done,
God, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day,
Who knew the title was correct?
if
Spoiler,
they,
it's in the title.
if
Gee.
they announced that there would no more movies happening ever for the rest of my life, I would be a little bummed, and I'd be like, oh man. But then I'd be like, well, I got this humongous backlog. I'll never see it all before I die anyway.
I
And
would
we
be
still
sad
got board
though.
games.
I would be sad though. Have you looked at the lineup of Marvel movies over the next 3 or 4 years? It's Fantastic Four. We're getting a lot of really good titles coming back.
You know, I know this. I'm losing a lot of money on it, Pete. Virtual money.
Mhm,
I play the HSX. It's called Stock Exchange.
mhm.
It's a Hollywood Stock Exchange virtual game where you buy and sell stocks based on how well movies will do.
Oh, nice.
I am losing millions of virtual dollars right now because all the movies I invested in, we have no idea when they're coming out.
I like that. That actually sounds like a cool game.
Yes, movies.
Mm.
Did anybody else, after I told you repeatedly to watch The Vast of Night, did any of you watch it?
I watched it. I reviewed it
Oh, on what?
on Board Game Breakfast. I
Board Game
reviewed something.
Breakfast. Are you not familiar with the premier variety board game show on the internet?
No, I review something that's not a board game each week, and I really liked it. It felt like a full-fledged episode of The Twilight Zone.
Yes, yep. And then yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Mm.
It's yeah, no
I
spoilers.
think it might have been 10 minutes longer than it needed to be.
But it was only a 90-minute movie. So
I
mean, it
know,
was-
but when they talked to the old lady, I felt like that could have been shortened.
maybe, but that was so. I was just. I mean, I don't want to say anything that's like so spoilery.
Then
but
don't.
Okay, I won't.
Then don't, because
I
you're
won't.
famous for spoiling when you say you're not going to spoil.
Okay, I won't. I
Not
won't.
Lance.
But that
No,
was
not
actually
Lance.
that was like I actually like I think I forgot to breathe when they were having that conversation.
Mhm.
I was just like I couldn't tear my eyes away. So I'll say that.
Mm, okay.
No, but no, it was good. It was good, and they were good in it. And I would strongly suggest that to anybody who's thinking about watching a movie. And it's free. It's freeze, I tell you, freeze.
With platform?
Prime.
Prime. Okay, I've got that. All right.
Yep, it's on my list, but my list is far too long.
Mm.
Cursed golden age of television.
I know I have Prime because I just looked at my credit card bills and I was like, huh, Prime, food. Prime.
Yeah.
Other bill.
Yeah. We've been spending a lot on Amazon. I should be taking stock in that.
I remember when Amazon was like the place you went to and you had to try to get over $25 so you could get cheap books. I mean, that's what I used Amazon for all the time back in the day, was just cheap books. Because like they almost every single book was at least 35% off. It was like one of their standard things. So like you'd go there and you it's like, okay, but I got to get $25 worth of books. You know, it was I remember, I think I bought Munchkin off of there way back in the day too. Munchkin. Tom, what have you just get the board game stuff out of the way? What you been playing that dazzled you lately?
I'm sorry, what?
What board games have you played recently that dazzled you?
Pandemic Legacy Season 0.
Yeah.
Richard.
Rado left.
Richard left.
It's like he knew. No,
Let's
don't
wait till he
worry.
comes back. Let's
I
re-ask
will.
that
I
question.
will.
when
I
he
will.
gets back.
I will.
We missed an opportunity there. We had to wait.
We could have had the massive F-bomb.
Yeah. I'm
explosion.
waiting for it. It sucked too. As soon as you said it and he got up, I'm like, no. Oh, wait, here you go.
Oh, I heard it. And no particular reason to come back.
Like I said, I so wish, like in a perfect world, like somehow, like when you were complaining about it, for me just to have picked it up. And, like, started.
That
Yeah,
would've
I don't
been
even
fun.
know when I'm
Go
gonna
and
play
eat
this. I have
all
no
you
interest.
want. It's still on your channel.
Yeah.
If I was Z-Man, I would have sent it to Rado.
Yeah. No. You would have sent a third copy to Board Game Geek after sending the first two.
Huh?
Board
Aldi
Game
got
Geek at
two
least
copies at BGG.
and they didn't send me one. But I've already expressed myself. Actually, it even came up in my podcast I recorded yesterday. Because somebody asked, what was the greatest insult I've ever suffered? And I thought about it long and hard, and it is literally this.
Wow.
But you've had a good life.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
the
had a
worst
good
thing
life.
you
If
can.
That's a
the
pretty
greatest
good
insult I've
life
ever
if that's
suffered.
your worst insult.
Yeah.
Also, you haven't heard the things my guys say about you when you're not on. No.
Okay, so besides the thing that will make Rado Skeleton jump out of his skin and curse you to the end of time.
I played a really fun game called is it Four Gardens?
Oh, you play, that's the tower one, right? With the rotating 4-level tower?
I really like that one a lot.
Have any of you played Last Defense yet? That new small light app game?
Real-time game from Renegade, I think.
Not Renegade, Prospero Hall, Funko.
Yeah.
I picked it up on a whim because it was like $19, so why not? And I haven't played it yet, but I was curious if it was any good or not.
Who's the publisher?
Funko. It's a Target exclusive. It's out of Target. It's like called Last Defense. Rodney did a watch it played of it last week, I believe.
Is it out
launched.
already?
Yes, it is. I picked it up at Target like 3 days ago.
Well, there you go, Rado. They didn't send that to me.
What game?
Last Defense. It's like a $20 $19.99 Prospero Hall Funko game where it's alien invasion and monsters are all attacking. It's real time. It's like a 20-minute real time app that you run to play the game, and you're cooperatively working together. It's got some bits of horrified, some bits of it looks really cool. And it's a very mass markety $20 components aren't great, but the gameplay looked really engaging. So I picked it up, but I hadn't played it yet.
I'm trying to come up with some joke about fencing my yard and the last piece of fence or something, but I Last Defense anyway.
No.
Yeah, you should probably stop.
I would
I was
yourself
searching
safe.
for a good one there, and it just never really
You've
came
let
out.
us all down.
I know.
We'll get past it though.
It would have been a long road for not much of a joke. I don't know.
It looked like a pretty good game. So I'm hopefully get to try it. It looks like it's soloable since it's app driven. I should be able to play it. I'll probably play it this weekend.
So did you do anything over Gen Con Online? Either Richard, I know you guys did like video. I know Tom, you did some stuff, didn't you, over Gen Con Online?
I did nothing.
You did nothing? You didn't play any games?
I did. I watched the botched Fantasy Flight in-flight
Oh
report.
my god, that was horrible.
You
I
were
felt
trying
bad
to
for
do a
him.
live simulcast with that, were you? Like so many people were.
Why did
No,
they not?
we
for
were
an hour.
going to, and then the next day, Roy said, "Good thing we didn't do that."
Yeah, I think Man versus Meeple did it. So did Joel Eddy, why they didn't tape it? They weren't even answering questions during the live stream. Like if you're not going to engage your audience, then there's no need for it to be live. You tape it, edit it, and put it out.
Well, let me ask you about that, Pete, because that seems to be what Comic-Con did that for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was pre-recorded.
Yeah, because
And
they
to me,
wanted
if-
the quality to be up there.
Yeah.
Well, then, did you watch the Comic-Con stuff?
No, not all of it. I just know the stuff we did, but they asked for a lot of it. Said if you want to pre-tape it because that way it can be uploaded and there's no issues with internet.
Sure, but then it's not really a con. It's just a bunch of pre-recorded stuff.
Yep.
Sure, no, I get that, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure
What would
they
you
did
rather
lots
have?
of tests. I'm sure they checked it all out. They did dry runs,
mhm.
and it was all fine. And it would be really interesting to hear what their actual technical problems were. But the
Oh,
problem,
I'm not getting on their case about that. That is what it is.
Yeah,
It
the
is
only
what
thing,
it is.
the only thing I think was dumb was that they did that. Oh, we're still live thing when they weren't.
Mm.
At the very end,
Uh,
at the very end, they showed Descent 3rd edition, and the guy was like, "We're still live. We're still live."
That's almost as bad as
No.
someone playing with meeples, pretending that people are watching when they're not on camera, but they're on camera still.
I don't. What?
What? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not the one watching.
Ah.
But actually, Pete, when you asked that question earlier, I would rather see slightly lesser quality live.
Oh, really?
Because live is exciting. Pre-recorded is neat, but if it's pre-recorded, I don't need to watch it when it goes up. I'll watch it when I feel like it.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, when
Yeah.
it's announcement stuff, you want to hear it from them first and not from your buddy on Twitter, right? Like, I'd still rather watch it from the company because they're going
Yeah,
to get
live.
first footing, right? Well, sure, but I mean, if I had to watch it live like they had that stream, no. Having
Yeah, that was
wait
just
7
a
minutes-
mishap on their thing. I don't know what happened.
and it
there.
could very well have been that they were planning on taking live questions.
No, they said
And
No, they
weren't.
said up front.
Oh, they
were
did-
not. They
they
said they
didn't
would
have a
not take
live
questions.
chat off to the side or anything.
Nope. They said they would answer questions after the stream was over, like separately on their webpage and stuff, like on Facebook and all that. They were saying they were just going to present, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So at
But I
that
guess you
point,
could ask why do they do Saturday Night Live? There is an electricity, there is an excitement, even if you can't directly interact with it.
yeah,
But
I agree. And when I watched the couple episodes they did without an audience, you can feel that missing.
no, I get
Yeah.
it. I obviously I get it. It just, and in that instance, I guess like after the first mishap, it's like let's just tape it.
I will say though, after I went into their Twitch stream and the chat there, wow, I'm so
Uh-oh.
glad I don't deal with that.
Twitch is very
Yeah.
volatile.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Twitch, I don't like Twitch very much.
A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Ability. Yeah, it's like it's almost as bad as Twitter. So
or
Yeah.
Reddit.
or Reddit. Yes, Reddit's real bad.
Yeah,
I have to say, having stopped going to Twitter has really, really brightened my day.
yeah.
I've thought that about Facebook for a while now. I've been thinking
Well,
about
Facebook's a lot easier for me to cull. On
yeah.
Twitter, even if I cull people, they were getting retweeted by other people and stuff, or liked by other people.
Mm.
With Facebook, I can snooze people for 30 days. I can just unfriend them, unfollow
Yeah.
them. It's really easy.
Do you still frequent Reddit?
Yeah, because Reddit gives me the unfiltered opinions on our reviews. And also, Reddit is by far the best place to find news.
Really?
If someone
I wonder
announces
why that is.
something, well, that's because it's a hive mind. If someone announces something, it's going to get posted there.
Even faster than like Twitter or Facebook?
Well, again, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know. Facebook
Right.
is Facebook's hard to follow. I have all
Did you
these.
did you
people.
get rid of your Twitter just because you were tired of being like a pinata on there or what?
No. I'm not. I don't actually. I haven't got rid of Twitter, and the Dice Tower still uses Twitter. I just don't read it anymore.
Oh, okay.
And because it just got so vile, and a lot of I'll be frank, there's a lot of people I really like, and I like them better not reading what they tweet.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I've felt that.
I feel that
That's
way
why-
about a lot of social media. I feel like I don't want to have to look the other way when I meet some people at conventions, so I'd rather just not read what they say.
That's true. I could honestly say that I like a lot of people more in person than I do on social media, and I've unfollowed a lot of people for that very same reason. Because I mean, I could care less what their views are. If they're a good person, they're a good person. But yeah, sometimes you just don't want to see.
And I don't like being forced to choose sides also.
Mm.
And that seems to be the case. It's,
Yeah.
person A says, if you're friends with person C, then we're done. Person C says to me, if you're friends with person A, we're done. I'm like, oh, okay. No, never mind. And I
Yeah,
just go away.
just go away.
Fade back into the hedges.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Hold on a second. Matt Paquette wants in. I didn't see his post. Dang it.
Come
Hey,
on,
how did you
hostess.
do?
Didn't
Weather
you
watch?
get rid of the waiting room, or you still haven't gotten rid of it yet? Because you can get
No, the
rid of it.
waiting room's gone. Back off.
Well, then how in the heck?
Because I don't have his email and it doesn't
Ah.
go out. And even though I've invited many people into the green room, they don't take the green room. So it's just like, or they don't go to
Gotcha.
the, they don't know to go to the green room for it and whatever.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Hey, Pete, how did you do weather-wise down there with this tropical storm?
Not bad here. Coast got hit pretty bad for a little bit, but it was 70-mile-an-hour wind, so it wasn't horrible. Down trees, a few houses got, mobile home parks, the places that you expect even with a smaller storm or a lighter storm like this one, but it didn't go deep enough. We didn't even get any rain from it where I live. I'm too far inland to get any of the hurricane stuff unless it's a big one. So
Usually I am, but I had 2 tornadoes within 10 miles or 10 minutes of me.
Mm.
One north and one south. And then
yeah, I
Philly
heard it was
flooded
hitting the
all.
Northeast pretty bad. Dan from R&R Games lives up in the Boston area, and he got hit pretty bad. He said there was all kinds of trees coming down and stuff.
Yeah, that's what they were today.
They're saying it's going to be the worst hurricane season we've had in a while. So good luck,
Thanks.
Tom. Good luck down in Miami. They're saying it's already shaping up to have 24 big name storms. Just what we need.
We worry about them one at a time, and if they happen,
Yep.
but not until.
Yep. But
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, you're living in Florida for. Why did
10
you?
years.
Well,
10
yeah,
years.
I know, but why did you move there 10 years ago?
There was a job.
Oh, fair.
I was willing to go. I was willing to go anywhere. And Florida sounded cool, so I went.
Florida is pretty cool. I lived there for a while. I enjoyed it.
I'm a real grass is green on this side of the fence. I've never lived anywhere in my life that I hate it.
Mm.
Take the weather.
There's bad things about every place you live. There's probably the mosquitoes are too big. But I love Florida, and now I'm killing flies right and left.
Oh, your salt gun.
That salt gun is fantastic. I
How-
feel like
how
a
is it?
warrior.
Has Steven's retirement though made you think about maybe moving out of Florida now?
Is Steven retired? Because I didn't realize he hasn't mentioned that.
No, not 100
7,000
times at all. No, he hasn't.
I see he just changed his website to the Podfather. That's like
Yeah,
his
I
whole
saw
thing
that.
now.
I got the invite to that today, and I'm like, oh God, what are you doing?
I don't even think. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a rant on that stupidity.
Well, good for him.
Retired.
No,
life.
good for him. I'm just saying the Podfather. He basically just copied the look of the Godfather.
Mm.
It's very, and the thing about the Podfather that cracks me up is he's the only person who calls himself that. He didn't start any podcast. He's not over any podcast. No one listens to him.
Oh, apparently he's starting one now. He's doing a podcast in his retired time. So
doesn't he have to play games that aren't Stronghold though for that to work?
I would think so, but I think he said he was going to now that he's no longer representing the company. He'd be reviewing and talking about all different types of games. He even mentioned the Dice Tower as being a contributor, or more reoccurring contributor. How's that going to go over?
We're working on that, but he was too busy retiring to talk more about it.
I imagine so. Fun stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, he tried to get out and they pulled him back in.
I don't think so. I think retirement will stick for him.
Yeah.
But he's not like leaving the hobby.
He said he would still be in board game media for a while, and sure, I mean it's what he loves, right? So why wouldn't you? But I mean, it's not like this industry. Like, there's so many different avenues to stay in the industry without really like working. Like, you could do any kind of media stuff. You could be consultant. I mean, he's got so much knowledge. I mean, there's many options for him to still be involved without having to be, a normal 9 to 5.
How old was Steve? He was in like his 60s, right?
Nah, I don't even know if he's that old. I think he's his 50s, right? or maybe
No,
60s.
no, he's in his early 60s.
Is he?
Early
Okay.
yeah.
He is turning 60 next year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay,
We'll make a really big deal about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
I mean, if you
he
don't,
might
he
as
will.
well be 1,000.
You don't, he will. You can
Well,
guarantee that.
I don't think he understands. Like when I stopped working, it was a rude awakening. Just like the sense of not having a purpose and getting used to not doing anything. You know, it was awakening. You know, he's gonna have to keep himself busy, especially that young. You know?
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll dive deep into this media thing. I think that'll
Yeah.
fill the void.
That's what I did when I retired.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a very similar path.
I know you've been like
Yeah.
just sitting back, just doing nothing.
Do you work harder now than you did when you worked before?
No.
No.
There's no normal workload in the video game industry.
That's true.
Yeah. I did not have a normal job. So yeah, now it's just a normal 40-hour a week kind of thing. Now I work a normal amount.
Richard, what was that website that like this tells you where the ship's
Hold
streaming?
on. It is, where is it? It is justwatch.com. One word, JUSTWATCH.
That's where you can
is-
find free movies to watch for.
Well, no, it tells you, like, doesn't it just tells you where you can find it?
Yeah.
Oh, like
any
if-
TV show, any movie, you type it in, it tells you what channel it's on, how much it costs, whether you can rent or buy or stream. Whether
Does it
there's
get real
ads.
obscure stuff too? Like stuff that's really hard to find?
Give me an obscure thing.
The Hunted with Christopher Lambert.
Oh, that'll be on there easy.
I've
If
been
that's not
wanting to
obscure.
find a movie.
That was
that movie-
awesome. I loved that movie.
I did
The
too. I love
Hunted
that movie,
is
but I can never.
available to stream on Fubo, Stars HD, DirecTV, and Sling.
DirecTV. Okay, I
$2.99
got
direct.
DirecTV. Did we just lose
Who's
Richard?
who?
Maybe he's
Voodoo or
he's-
Microsoft, or you can buy on Amazon, Google Play, Voodoo.
Oh, I can buy it
Microsoft.
on Amazon. I'm gonna go do that right now. I love it.
Oh,
I use Just Watch
the,
all the time. It's really handy to remember
Oh,
to which
and you-
streaming service stuff's
I love
on.
that movie.
the
Oh, am I
train.
gone? Am I
The
out?
train.
Gone, aren't I?
Oh, the train scene was amazing.
That train scene was
It's
awesome.
making me
I
want to
just
go
dropped
play
out, didn't
Ghost
I?
of Tsushima right now.
Oh, just they will not see my face, samurai.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. And there it is. How much
He
they
just-
want for this?
And all he does is like she slices her face off and he like just barely turns and looks and then just continues walking down the the aisle of the train.
It's unavailable to buy digitally in my area, in my
Oh,
region.
really?
Yeah. But I can get, it looks like there's links for the DVD and Blu-ray. $27 for the Blu-ray. I can buy the Blu-ray version of it, but it's
Where are you seeing that? Is that on Just Watch?
on Amazon Prime. I went to Prime.
Oh, you actually followed the link. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Prime and it's not available for digital download in my region.
Oh, wow. I wonder if it's only overseas then for some reason.
Probably, but I can get a Blu-ray or DVD copy of it on Prime for $20 or $10 for a DVD. Huh. Okay. At least I know it's available.
I
See, that's stuff like that, like Rad, the old bicycle movie from like the 80s. That's another one that's like never been officially published on Blu-ray or DVD, and it's not streaming anywhere.
Yeah,
Oh, you're right. It's not. I was looking at the wrong Hunted. I was looking at some movie with Tommy Lee Jones that I've never heard of.
Yeah, yeah. As I said,
I want that.
there's a couple different Hunteds. There's the
Yeah. The Hunted was fantastic.
Mm.
The final fight in the rain. Oh, everything.
No,
about
it was great.
Well, and then you have that moment where you're like, okay, well, how are they going to, like, how
can they possibly justify him surviving this final fight? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so like I was like, how are they going to possibly make
by
this...
wounding the other guy? So he's
Yeah. So they just they
By Kylo Renning him, basically.
basically,
Shooting him with a laser crossbow.
Don't get into the Star Wars stuff. We'll never get off.
What we agree on. all of the
for
other
now.
movies. It's just
so
the one.
no here like the moment that he says that or whatever, it says like but doesn't he like when this spoiler alert for the 25-year-old movie
95.
Yeah.
95, yeah, pretty spot on there.
Mhm.
I went to the movie in the theater, but when he, like, the samurai, as he's sitting there dying in the rain, he just says, he goes, I will see you in hell. Yeah, I see that slowly like slumps to the ground.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a great movie. Great movie. I was a
can't
big
believe
Christopher
that's not
Lambert fan
available
because
to
I'm a
stream
huge
anywhere.
Highlander
That's
fan.
heartbreaking.
tells him to he's
Good
like,
obscure choice.
I need your sword, and he jams it in the floor and breaks it in half, hands it to him.
Hmm.
Tells the sword maker, the drunken sword maker, your sword broke. No, it didn't. My swords do not break. Ah, yeah, it's a good movie. It's good stuff. And yeah, I mean, I just that was such a that was back when was he known as Lambert or Lambert at that time? Was he still
I think it's Lambert. I'm not
what?
sure.
No. I mean, he is Lambert, but he allowed him during like the Highlander stuff. He just it's Christopher Lambert.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
wanted to Americanize him.
Mhm.
So because that would be more palatable for people. No, like cool, man. Thanks for the just watch. Just I mean, the big thing is trying to remember those old movies that we used to watch, right? Like trying to remember the names.
Yeah.
I can never remember. Like, I can remember movies that I really enjoyed, but I'm like, what was the name of that movie? I can never like. Then you start to like backwards engineer it by remembering an actor that was in it, but you don't remember the actor's name, but he was the same guy who played that guy in Tombstone. Then you like look up Tombstone, find random bartender guy, and then like
Yep.
yeah. And then you start scrolling through their IMDb. What was the movie? What was the movie?
Mm-hmm.
So here's an interesting thing. Now that we're talking about movies a little bit, like so, the Ghost of like I haven't watched all of this stuff, but I've watched a lot of Akira Kurosawa stuff. I still remember the night when I was in college. I was awake, like doing some studying or writing a paper, and Throne of Blood came on PBS on my little tiny TV I had in my room back in like '92. And Throne of Blood is the Akira Kurosawa movie that is basically Macbeth, but he just does it with samurai. And so the same story, same thing. And I remember just being entranced by it. I couldn't like stop watching the movie, and I'd never seen it before. And but like then so somebody like mentioned, he's like, oh, I finally watched Seven Samurai. It was amazing. And what would you suggest? What other movies? And so I immediately suggest Hidden Fortress to anybody, because Lucas based so much of Star Wars on like New Hope, the very first movie, based so much of it on Hidden Fortress. I mean, just like the idea, like the traveling, the two travelers, which are obviously the droids, and the fact that the Hidden Fortress is basically like the Death Star, and just all these things. So it's like it's kind of like a weird homage. So I always suggest that first, but then like this big long discussion started, and I'm not trying to go off on a little political rant here, but a lot of people are like, they said, and this is fine if they feel this way, I have trouble watching his movies because of the fact that of like there are no strong women in any of his movies and things like this. And it's like, well, okay, I mean, yeah, okay, but he made his movies in like the 50s and like the 60s and whatever, and it's just,
and they're mostly based on feudal Japan, which is not
well, and so you just kind of have this like, and I get it, I get why you're saying that, and I get why then it isn't, but I mean, but doesn't art and everything like just evolve in a way? I mean, I'm not like, it just bothered me that I was able to like just go crazy and say, oh man, I love all these things, and this is why I really like this movie, this is why I like this movie, and then all of a sudden the whole thread got hijacked by basically a discussion about like why those movies shouldn't be watched and why that they aren't like good. And I'm just like, okay, I'm moving on, I'm out. Because like it wasn't a discussion I wanted to have. It really bothered me. I hadn't even thought about that until you started talking about movies. Now I'm thinking about them. I don't know, Richard. I usually turn to your mindset because you seem like you're more liberal than me, but you have a lot of common sense. I'm waiting for you to tell me what to think here.
I'm sorry, I was kind of tuning out.
I think
great!
you to think Last Jedi was an amazing movie is what he tell you.
I do think
You
that.
didn't listen to him then. What is he supposed to listen
Lance,
to now?
you didn't ask me what game I played recently, and you would really like to hear it.
Why did you play? Hold on. Did you play
Pandemic.
Battlestar Galactica?
No, good
Oh.
guess though. You're in the right ballpark.
Galactica Battlestar?
No. I'm not even quite adjacent to that specific, but I certainly played a game that you would not have expected me to play anytime soon. And you would like to hear my story of tales of daring do.
Regale
Hint.
me.
Give us a hint.
Plunderous.
Okay, that's a big hint.
It's a big hint. It's a gigantic, big old, super long 4X game, and I played it because I'm friends with the designer, and it was his birthday, and he's been after me for years to play it with him online. I said, okay, it's your birthday, I'll do it. And of course, it's a 4X game, and I resolved right from the get-go, I'm not going to play their game. I'm going to be my typical Care Bear self. Maybe I'll be a marked man. They'll sink me every chance they get. The game starts out, and I'm mostly focusing on exploring and exploiting. Exploring, expanding. I'm ignoring the exploiting and the exterminating. And somebody else, Andy, gets a mech right out of the gate. It's a steampunk, Pirates of the Caribbean style game. He gets a mech, and he immediately starts terrorizing everybody. One of the things you can do in the game is call votes and literally change the rules of the game. And so after I saw he wiped out the other two guys because they were closer, I said, don't worry, guys, this council meeting, I'm going to call a vote. We're going to completely ban mechs from the world. And they said, oh, thank God. Okay, we're going to shut this down. And then Andy says but at the same time, this game has public objectives. And one of the objectives was, if you have a mech, you can destroy it and get 3 points. And it's a game that's a race to 15 points. So that's huge. And when Andy realizes, I am going to shut his mech down just through normal democratic processes and everybody's backing, he says to me, well, tell you what, I will trade you my mech so you can actually scupper it and get those 3 points. And all I ask is that you enter a non-aggression pact with me so you can't attack me with it. And I forgot the important thing. Before this trade happened, another thing you can do is expand your crew by buying cards. All 3 Marauder cards had come out at the same time. And while he was running around just destroying everybody, I went over to the tavern and bought all the Marauder cards in the game. And because I was the only one who owned them, that meant nobody in the game was going to get to try to destroy anybody else's port. And I was selling them off, getting them out of the game and turning them into points. And when he realized he had done that, all I want is just 1 Marauder card, and I'll never use it against you because you and I will engage in a non-aggression pact. And everybody agreed it was literally the greatest deal in history because everybody was confident that I wouldn't attack anybody. So we went through with the trade, which was called like giving a weapon of mass destruction to Gandhi. And that was well received. It was a tough objective for me to do. And of course, I was using it to protect myself but not attack anybody. So nobody would attack me because there's a mech right here. No one wants to mess with me. And I'm going to get rid of it eventually. But somebody else at one point said, I could also vote this mech out of the game. What are you going to do for me? Because there's a lot of negotiation in the game. What are you going to do for me to stop me from doing this? And then you won't be able to scupper it. And my response is, if you realize if you do that, I will have 2 full rounds before the council is called, and I will destroy you. And that scared him off.
That's the most boring 4X story I've heard in a long time.
I thought Lance would love it. I thought he'd be so proud of me.
Richard, I'm sorry I tuned you out.
Very good. Very good.
Wow.
That's fine.
What did you think of it, Richard?
I like that. I like the fact that there's the democracy thing going on. It sounded like you were wheeling and dealing in there. I mean, admittedly, to be all Care Bear and all like, come on.
Oh no,
guys.
I mean, once I had that mech, I was pretty much involved in. I mean, I was the smoking gun sitting on the table for pretty much the entire game because that mech could have come alive at any time.
Wow.
And everybody knew I wasn't inclined to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hypocrite.
But there was just like this uneasy alliance. I had brought peace to the new Caribbean just by, through superior arms. And the guy who traded with me, he didn't care because we had entered into a non-aggression pact. But and whereupon he then took the only Marauder card left because I had bought them all out of the game and used it to good effect.
What's up, boss man? I liked your graph that you sent me.
You like the graph? I just felt inspired.
So we had a really, really good first day for Arcana Rising.
Oh,
Which,
excellent.
yeah, no, it was great. I mean, it was like we funded in less than an hour, and we ended up at like 400 and whatever 400 and some percent of our goal. So I mean, it was just good. Unlocked a bunch of stretch goals. So it's like you get, hey, here's $45,000 in like 12 hours, and then like day 2 comes along, and it just always does. It slows down, like the crawl, like the just because the people that were gonna back it came in and gave us the money, right? And now it's the process of finding those people with money that want to give it to you, and you gotta find them and get them to come there and give you
hustle.
the money. Yeah, you gotta hustle, right? But Shane sent me a graph today that basically like showed like a bird hitting a glass wall, leaving a blood stain on it, and then a dead bird lying on the ground.
Welcome to day 2.
Yeah, welcome to day 2. Day 1,
Like,
where everything
it's going so well.
sunshine,
Unless you're
lollipops,
Frosthaven
and
or something like that. Usually day
rainbows.
2 is the stall. Day 3 it kind of evens out, and then the rest of your days until the last 48 hours is just a slow, steady climb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hustle. I mean,
you'll have a spike or two in there somewhere because someone
Video pops or something.
someone mentioned it that has a following, or whatever. Like you'll see, like, how do we we're up like 300% today, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's because of this thing. But yeah, it's all part of the process, and I've done it enough times where it should just be like, it's fine. But it's still that day 2. Still, it's always like,
It's kicking the teeth.
hey, we're number 2 to Massive Darkness on Kick Track. So
Hey, look at
Kick
that.
Track.
They're the top 2 games on Kickstarter right now are on the stream.
yeah.
So do you have any plans to try to juice that mid-campaign lull?
What are you trying to say, Richard?
Maybe if a notable board game media person wanted to really talk up the game.
If only I
only
was
we knew any
somewhere
of
where
those
I could
people.
reach out to maybe 2 of the biggest board game media people at once. If only I had some sort of option, or maybe I could turn on a tabletop simulator and engage them to play it like right now on a podcast that we could point to.
Yeah, perhaps you could just do better networking, Lance.
Yeah.
If only I could find. Does anybody have any ideas or anything? I mean, yeah.
I know you could try calling Joel Eddy.
There you go.
Isn't he making Warhammer minis right now or something?
He's too busy playing Pandemic Legacy.
No.
No.
Yes.
It's really hard getting that lull in the middle of it to really. I mean, you kind of just accept it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of what happens during that middle part is people come and they look and they're like, well, let me save this and maybe I'll come back at the end. And so that's why you see that huge ramp up in the end. So
That reminded me later.
Well, because everybody gets that 48-hour notice.
You're almost throwing money at a brick wall when you try to push the middle of a campaign. You've got to have something really big announcement to really kick it into gear. Most of the time, once you get past the first 48, you're just banking on the last 48 being really good.
Well, then what is the science for deciding how long the campaign will go in the first place then?
That's a good question. I never understand how we do it. Some of our campaigns are 21 days. Some of our campaigns are 10 days. We've had small, medium, and large campaigns, and I don't know the science behind it. I just know the science on the metrics on how a campaign goes up and down.
Well, last time I suggested anything in a meeting that maybe thought I would like point out something in Kickstarter, yeah, my boss took the next 5 minutes. Everyone be quiet while Lance steps down from the mountain to divulge his wisdom.
He knows you well.
I think people want a lot of like stuff in their campaign. Oh my God, Lance! I had no idea. That's not what I so smart. Oh my God, I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
Wow, free stretch goals, Lance. That's genius. You should trademark that.
It's brilliant.
You can't use your. Never mind.
People like free stuff. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Well,
The crazy thing is that vote. I mean, it's still like neck and neck for all three of them.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's like right now 314 responses. Like it's 31.2%, 34.4%, and 34.4% to decide on which
Wow.
thing to use.
I think we'll have to use the whatchamacallit. I'll think of it in a minute.
The cauldron is the one that's bringing up the rear by 10 votes.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, that's cool. So no, just so the deluxe version of the game. Can't say deluxeified because TMG trademarked that. But anyway,
Real?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Really?
Yeah.
Deluxeified. And deluxification and
I'll just say this: nobody's challenged their trademark. That's all
Okay.
I'll say.
Well, I'll add an R. Deluxeified.
Deluxeified. No,
The chicken game.
but no, the deluxe version. So just to be able to understand what we're talking about, if you go to the Arcana Rising Kickstarter page, there's a spot there where you can go and vote on what shape you would like the upgraded. Instead of a wooden cube, it'll look like this. So the three choices were a magical burst, a cauldron, or a reagents bag or reagents bag, depending upon how you want to pronounce that. And so, yeah, I mean, all three of them are holding steady. I figured I figured like one of them would just blow up, but
I'm surprised that the burst is hanging is equal, because I think of all the shapes, that one's the most boring to me. I mean,
I thought cauldron was like the one that would lose. I mean, and it is technically losing. So,
but I see the cauldron, I know it's a cauldron. When I see the reagents bag, I know it's reagents bag. When I see the burst, I don't know, it just looks like a star or something. Like I don't know.
yeah.
This is why we ask people, because I have no idea. No clue.
But yeah, I mean, and it's just like, as always, there's always some backers that wanna tell you about what they definitely have their opinions, and I appreciate their opinions. I appreciate the time that they take the time to express how they feel, and as Daniel always said, and I've said this before, and I'm repeating myself, but I'm saying it for Shane. He always said we should be very happy that we're making things that people are this passionate about.
Yep.
Which I
I should
said,
just love Kickstarter.
I agree. I really wish they would just go away. Yeah. I mean, I'm serious. There was a guy who posted I didn't count the words, but it was like 1,200 word diatribe about why
comments.
shipping was a giant, why charging what Kickstarter, not just us, Kickstarters in general, but Kickstarter's charge for shipping
Wow.
is a bunch of BS.
1,200 words? That's almost half as much as you would usually talk about.
You got 12 minutes there. You got 12 minutes there. What's the next thing you're gonna try to get me with, Pete?
Oh, those days are over, Lance. I had my fun. I've moved on.
I don't believe you. I see. I expected you to jump out right there. I was like, here
Could
it
have.
is.
I very
Here it
well
is.
could have. Did I? No, I did not. This is more fun watching you on edge every time I ask you a question. This is well worth it.
Let's not. Oh, that makes me sad. I haven't gone to Word Counter in so long that the Word Counter website had saved like a bunch of stuff that I wrote for TMG. Like that's from forever ago.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. I did play a game this week. I lied earlier. I forgot. I played my first game of Werewolf this week.
Yes. Let's talk about that
poorly.
one.
Very poorly, by the way. My first time playing. Everyone thought I was playing possum. I had no idea what I was doing. But they
Okay,
thought
first of all, you're full of crap. All right.
No, that's true. I've never played
This
Werewolf.
is don't what Pete came in and he was like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new." And he kept doing that for about 20 minutes. And then one guy said, "Hey, what's your favorite game?" And he's like, "Shadows over Camelot." The guy said, "I nominate Pete." He's clearly lying. If he knows how to play Shadows over Camelot, he knows how to be a werewolf. And was Pete a werewolf? Yes, he was.
Yes, I was a werewolf.
So whatever.
Mhm. No, it was true though. I really I could not remember half of the roles that you guys spouted off at the beginning of that game. Literally in the first 5 minutes, they went over all the roles and what they did, and there were so many roles that can come back in after certain things happen and stuff.
Yeah.
I had no clue what anything
Yes,
was.
but you played too stupid. You
Yeah,
were doing that whole, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." After a while, people were like, "Let's just kill this guy."
How many
yeah,
people were there?
but in a way, it sort of worked because I took the heat off the real winner of the game, which was Jason, because everyone was so focused at that point on me that they kind of let the other ones slide, and they were able to kind of do their thing. So I don't mind being a martyr. Once I found out I still won because werewolves won, I was cool with it. I don't care if I die.
That was a very good game.
It was a good game. It was fun. I'd always heard about the game, and I'd always seen people at conventions playing it. I'm like, what are those guys? Why are these 30 people all huddled up in a circle? It's weird. Like, I'm going to bed, because it's always late at night too, right?
Sure.
And
I don't
never
know that
thought it
I'm
would
going to be
a game
able
I'd
to go
enjoy.
back to normal werewolf though. Zoom works really well for it.
It does, and I have to say, going in skeptical, thinking I'll do this once because you asked me to. I already signed up for next week. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much because I'm really, even though I like Shadows over Camelot, I'm not a huge social deduction gamer. So that's one of the few games I really enjoy that has like some of that social deduction, and I play it like once a year. So people are like, "Oh, he plays that. He must." I play the game like maybe 8 times in my life. I love it, but I don't play it a lot, so it's not like I'm good at it. But it was fun though. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Like I said, I was never more proud of my son than when he came up with a way to play werewolf with all 4 members of our family, just by having 3 villagers and 1 werewolf, and putting a Nerf gun in the middle of the table. And it was just like you hand out the cards, everybody closes their eyes, the person that is the werewolf reaches forward, takes the Nerf gun quietly, shoots one other person without them knowing, puts the gun back in the middle, and can twist it around, point it at certain people, move it around. And then they close their eyes, and then everybody opens their eyes, and the person that's dead says, "I'm dead." And then the other 3 people argue, and it's just basically you got 1 shot. You got to figure out who it is, and it worked. And I was so proud of my son because he was the werewolf the very first time we played, and then my wife got shot, and he's a total mama's boy, and I was like, "There is no way in the world. There's no way in the world this cute precious boy would have shot his mom." So I was like, "It's gotta be." I accused my daughter, and like he chimed in. He's like, "Yep, it's my sister. It's my sister." Okay, yeah, it's just like it's you, and it was him. He shot his mom. I was like, "Well played, son."
Well, that sounds very clever. Have you done it since?
Oh yeah, we played. Yeah, it's been a COVID mainstay on our Friday night game night.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that a thing? I've never heard of anybody doing that, but that does sound really clever.
It's just because like it's and it's just like and also when you if you're not the werewolf, you're like just closing your eyes because it isn't gonna hurt, but being like shot with a dart with your eyes closed just makes you jump, and you're like,
oh sure, yeah, exactly, because everybody's just waiting. And it's no big deal, but the anticipation.
Yeah.
So Tom, is this werewolf thing going to be a regular, or is it just a kind of a passing thing?
I don't know. That was like the 8th time we've done it.
Oh wow, okay. I didn't realize.
So I
must have not gotten the invite. I don't know. My email. I checked my spam folder. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't see an invite either.
Don't worry. don't look hard. No, if y'all want to join, it's a Dice Tower Werewolf Facebook group. All you gotta do is join that.
I must have missed that invite to that too. Hold on, I'll check my Facebook.
Again, I did not make a big public thing because I didn't need 10,000 people joining. I want to see if it worked first.
Well, don't worry.
Nobody watches the show.
This won't get the word out either.
I thought it worked great. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I've never played it in person, but to compare, but I thought that it played pretty well considering.
There's a lot of things I like. There's a lot less metagaming because I can mute everybody at night, so people can't say I heard noise from over this direction. I don't like that in Werewolf.
Okay.
So that takes care of that. And when you're done, I just turn off your video and you can watch all you want, but your face won't give anything away.
Yeah.
So
So
who would dish out like the rules?
He
I-
moderates.
I
There's
moderate
a
it,
moderator. Okay.
so I just give out all the roles at the beginning, and I do it randomly on purpose. That way, no one reads into it like, "Well, Tom probably gave this role to Jason or whatever." No, it's just all random. And then we play through it, and the last 3 or 4 games have been really good. I actually recorded it. You can watch it. I posted it yesterday.
The only thing I'd say that is a little difficult is being able to like send note messages, even without a background. Sometimes it's
No,
hard
that's
to see.
all the background, dude. You just
think
need to
so?
not use that background. Yes.
Mm.
Also, glasses. You're old.
Ha!
Yeah, I am old. I am old. Well, doesn't the Zoom chat work? You can send private messages, right? So could you?
Sure, but the reason I kind of discourage that is because then you could have some pretty detailed information that you would not be able to do in a normal werewolf game.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
You could really give a lot back and forth to the other people.
No, I meant just to you, like when you're calling out, like who you sending out
Oh,
of town.
people do that anyway. You
Oh,
just
okay.
don't see it.
Okay. All right. I didn't see it. That's why. All right. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a fun experience. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I thought I was a one and done, but I'm actually gonna try to play again this week.
Yeah, I'm debating if I'm going to run 2 of them because there's like 10 people already on the waiting list.
Well, don't you want to play in one? Or are you always just gonna
No,
moderate?
I've only played in like 3 werewolf games in my life.
You
Oh,
like
wow.
moderating?
There's
I really do like
somebody
moderating.
asking to be entered into the group. Just I don't know who it is. This time.
I'm looking. Oh, 7 people want to join. All right. Well, let's see. I will
is
prove-
interesting. So, Tom, do you?
Declined. Uh,
Do you
All right,
just
anyway.
not enjoy it as much, Tom? And you prefer being a moderator? Or you just do
I
it
really
so
like
nobody
being the
else has to
moderator.
do it?
He actually sounded like he got into it. He tells the whole story of what happens during the night.
I like being the moderator. I don't know what it is. It's the same thing with role playing. I usually like to be the dungeon master.
Yeah.
You
did a good
I
job.
don't know. I just like. I don't know. Maybe it's a control thing.
it's Uatu the Watcher thing.
Yeah.
And I really do
Um,
get a kick out of watching people just flat out accuse each other of lying.
Mm.
It's like with my kids, except this time I know who the culprit is.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a wish fulfillment thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pretty
No,
much.
it's kind of like hosting a game night. People don't believe me, but if I have 5 people come over, 4 people come over, and I'm like, you know what, this game doesn't work with 5. You 4 play, I'll watch. And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, look, I have just as much fun. I really do.
I get that. When I run game days at my house, I do the same thing. If it's a game that doesn't play well, I would rather them play and enjoy, and I can sit back and watch or help set up or teach or something. And they always think that it's like bad. And they're like, oh no, we'll find something else. I'm like, no, really, I'm totally cool with that. I enjoy that as well. I don't have to play in every game. Sometimes I prefer not to play in every game. Sometimes
There are there are days when you're just like, yep, I can just watch you play. I don't have to think. Right?
yeah,
Okay, good.
I don't want to think. I just want to sit back and watch everything unfold.
I would say there are people. Now that my group is much, much smaller, I'm starting to get tired of losing by 200 points in every game.
Well, you play with some pretty cutthroat players, Mr. Levine.
What was the Hey, I saw somebody posted that's about Master Darkness 2. Somebody posted, does anybody think that these models are a little bit too?
I saw your response to that.
I was like, do anybody think that you obviously are a Warhammer player? So do you think these models are a little bit too detailed and intricate? I was like, you
Ornate was the word they
Warhammer
used.
player.
Yeah, we've seen all kinds of comments on there about the models or the theme, or some people complaining that one of the characters is holding a Bible and they're mad about that. And I'm like, it's a holy warrior. I mean, it's like you hear so many things on Kickstarter. It'll take years off your life. That's why I don't look at the comments anymore.
Well, I'm really happy now. I got full-time paint crew in my.
Oh yeah,
studio.
you lucked out.
I asked Holly to try it out because she liked painting, and man, she's really got into it. I just bought her a whole studio basically with the little
Nice.
lights and she had like 200 paints and things now.
She took to it quick. She's good.
Marvel's already done. We're currently painting through Munchkin,
Nice.
and yeah, it's really good. And I got my second daughter painting now too. So
God, I need to have more kids.
I
Oh, you
promise you, at
know.
the end of the day, you're doing it the cheaper way. I
Yeah,
promise you. In 3
Probably.
weeks, I'm taking daughter number 2 to college, and I'm really, really feeling it.
Is her
Maybe.
school actually going
Maybe you're taking
in,
her to
in
college.
class learning, or is there
No,
school-
but it's a pretty enclosed campus.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of restrictions and rules. I started reading them and I got bored because I didn't have to follow them. So I was like, whatever, it looks good.
Yeah, I guess it's getting close to that time. I mean, yeah, we're almost into, but schools normally starts this week, right? If it was starting on time, it would normally be this first week of August, I think.
Actually, we're starting. We homeschool, so I said let's start this week because that way, if things clear up, we've already gotten ahead, so we can go have fun.
Yeah, have fun during the summer.
Folks, it is bedtime for me. I will talk to you all later. Mr. Shane, if you can give me a call at your convenience, I have 2 important things to ask you. Pete, I got something important to talk to you about. Rado, I've already been talking to you. Lance, I got nothing.
Tomorrow, I'll text you tomorrow once I get done with my meetings, and then you can call me back when you have time.
Got it.
All right.
Thanks for coming on,
Call them
Tommy.
all, Tom. Take care.
Bye, Tom.
Talk to y'all.
Yeah, leave already.
I'm trying.
Jeez, what a gracious host. Leave already.
Yeah.
Oh, just
Mm.
I didn't want to start talking crap about him.
Oh, Kabuki,
Yeah.
Aldi is probably playing Warframe either with Keith or without Keith, but apparently they had a date to play Warframe tonight.
Well, the brand new
On
season.
Wednesday
Warzone.
night of all nights.
Yeah,
Brand new
Warzone.
season.
Brand new season
so
started today.
brand new season of Warzone.
What's
started, so-
Warframe?
Warframe, Warzone, whatever. It's the new Call of Duty online multiplayer first person
And
shooter.
it
And
comes
it's
out
the
in
new
seasons?
Fortnite
Yeah.
Apex Legends.
They do seasons where you rank up and you get points.
Oh,
and then
I
at
see.
the end of the
So it's-
season,
oh,
they reset.
it's a not professional esports. kind of.
Yeah, it's amateur hour.
And so they have to play because they're trying to work their way up to whatever.
Sure, I guess
I
that's
see.
probably a good way to say it. Maybe they have
Yeah.
to play.
Well, it's too bad we can't. I mean, we could be streaming that in and rooting them on or laughing
I
at
don't
their
know.
failures.
That would be very riveting video watching.
Yeah.
That'd be boring as all get out. No,
I wouldn't know. I don't. pay
I don't
attention.
generally like watching video game streams. I like watching more reviews or more like topics, like talking
I was-
about
I was-
games. But to
I was
actually
on-
watch other people play is boring to me.
I was on Amazon Prime and I searched for Batman to see if there was any like Batman because they used to have Batman the original series, and I was gonna watch some in the background.
Mhm.
Come
There-
on.
on Amazon Prime, there is a video that is a walkthrough of Batman Arkham Asylum.
Really?
Just I was like, what?
On
Like,
Prime?
What? It's like the Amazon Prime that you get retail or commercial
Yeah.
movies on?
yeah. Just like, oh, here's a Prime video of somebody's edited walkthrough of this game, so
People
you can
will pay
like
for
watch
that.
them
Yeah.
beat
You
the
don't wanna-
game and.
Since
I'm
video
assuming
game
there's
magazines
more.
don't really exist like they used to, people start going to video to get their tips and tricks instead of
Yeah.
Nintendo. power.
I was like, what? I mean, I understand people watching a little 7-minute video of like, oh, hey, what can we do this crazy dumb stuff on, on Grand Theft Auto?
Is Batman animated series? It's not streaming anywhere. You can only buy it on physical, right?
I think
Yeah.
it's streaming.
Justwatch.com. Let's go.
I know that the disc set is like $70 or something on Prime, but I've got like Netflix. I've got Disney
Isn't
Plus.
there some
I think it's on
WB,
HBO
some
Max.
DC thing you can sign up for?
Well, I think DC has their own streaming service. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's where it'd be, but
Yeah.
because WB owns the Batman animated series, I didn't know if maybe it would be on their
Yep,
streaming.
you
service.
can see 2 seasons of it streaming on DC Universe.
Only 2, but there was like 3 or 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
So
I know I
so you
was
got to buy
lazy.
those by the season on Amazon or Google Play or whatever. Or
I
I know
Apple.
I was lazy when I was like, I was like, oh, cool, I got this thing, I got all the DVDs, and this is like wherever it was, and put the first one in, like it was Blu-ray or whatever, watched 3 episodes, all right, put the next one in. all right, you know what? Screw this. I hate getting up and putting.
And that's
God.
Jesus Christ.
and that's the
In my
problem.
day, we had to get up to flip the laser disc, Lance. Come on.
Yeah, really.
I
But
can
I
remember
think,
changing
though,
the channels.
The good
Like,
thing though is if
So
you
do
buy
I.
the Blu-ray collector set, it probably has the digital copy so that you can just use the. I mean, that's 90% of what I do now is I'll buy a box set, get the digital copy, keep the discs for a while, and then I end up selling or trading the discs off. So because the digital copy will last forever. I've done that with a ton of movies. Because you can get them cheap usually that first week. They're usually like 20% off at Target, or you buy them, buy them once they've been out for a while and you get them for $12 or something at Best Buy in one of the bins. But that's probably what I'm gonna look at for animated series, so I can get it all in one spot, is to buy the box set, get the digital copy, and then sell the physical discs back at half price or whatever. Just get the digital copy.
Okay. Apparently, for some reason, on the DC Universe thing, they combined season 2 and season 3, and call it season 2, but it's both of them. Season 4 isn't available yet because it hasn't been officially Blu-ray released yet.
Gotcha. And that's not true because they sell the complete animated series in a box set.
That's a post from a year ago, so I take it back. I did not.
Hold on, let me look on Amazon. I know I was looking at it because at one point it showed up on one of my you may like this lists, and I almost bought it. Let me see, Batman. There it is, Blu-ray. The complete animated series Blu-ray with digital copies, $49 on Prime right now.
There you go.
That's really not bad, actually. I could probably sell the discs once I get it and get the digital copy. I could probably sell the disc for $25 easy.
BTAS is my jam. That's a great show.
It's my favorite Batman.
So there was one fairly recently that was like a Justice League thing, and it definitely it definitely treats the situation like with a little bit of humor and stuff. And there's a very funny episode of the Blue Beetle, the new Blue Beetle, learning from Batman. And like the Blue Beetle, he's like posing and doing all this stuff, and Batman saying, "You don't pose, and you don't do this, you don't do that." But then they have to travel back in time, and they actually do Batman the Animated Series, and it's like them in that time period, and has the same background music and everything like that. And then he actually has this moment, and like there was actually an episode of BTS where he's like, it's like, "I am the night, I am the the watcher in the darkness. I am," and then he's like, "Is this you? Really? I am the night. We're done here." It's I like it when they play on the old school stuff a little bit. Yeah, good stuff.
So I'm curious with you guys, who's your Batman? Is it Keaton or is it Bale or is it
Kevin Conroy?
Yeah,
I meant movie wise.
I always
Kevin
struggle
Conroy.
with this. I struggle with this. Kevin Conroy is probably
Live action.
live action. It used to be Keaton.
Well,
but I
it's
really
Kevin
like-
Conroy because he did appear live action in the Flash multiverse crossover.
Yeah,
Kevin Conroy.
Now, animated, it's easy. It's Kevin
Next
Conroy, hands
question.
down. But
Well,
live
yeah.
action, it's probably Bale. Even though he's got the
Pure.
I think only because I really liked that trilogy. Even though I love the original Batman movie with Keaton, I think it's Bale live action for me.
If you put any of them in front of me to watch right now, I would choose Adam West.
Pure West. I have that. Those are Blu-rays that I will keep watching. I love watching the old Batman.
Yep.
That's good stuff. My dad stunned me the other day. He just all of a sudden texted me because like apparently on Hulu, like there's all these different packages, and his wife did purchase the live show package on Hulu. And he's like, "Yeah, I was just sitting here. I had nothing better to do," because he comes over and watches wrestling with me and my son every once in a while. And he was like, "Yeah, I watched the SummerSlam from 1992 with like this, that, and the other thing." I was like, "Really? Yeah, I didn't know." And there's like old pay-per-views, WWE pay-per-views on Hulu. My dad's just like texting me constantly about like as these matches are going on. I was like, "Dad, they're not live." I was just like, you can pull
He's
up
not
the
wrong.
results. Just like oh man, Flair just cheated Savage out of the belt. Just like, oh yeah, Steve Austin and Undertaker are going at it. Just like, yeah, they did. So I was happy he found it. And then to your thing, Richard, with sharing the passwords, I told my dad to just download the WWE Network app for his TV, and I just gave him my login info. I was like, there you go. It, like 7 billion hours of wrestling. You can watch any of it that you want. Because quite literally, Vince McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon owns damn near everything.
But can't they track that? Like if it's different, I mean, I guess if he lives in
No,
your
of course.
area.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't think twice about it, because if they were bothered by it, they could easily shut it down. They know what our geographic location is roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And if they see, oh, well, the credit card is associated with Washington State, there's some people in Arizona, let's shut that down. They could easily do that.
But for all they know, like,
you're traveling.
Your wife could be in Arizona visiting family and watching.
Using her iPad to watch it, the account you paid for. That's why it
every
gets
day for
tough.
months.
Well, that's the kicker is how with the frequency.
And actually, can they see MAC addresses on computers? I have no idea now that I think about it.
Well, IP, I think. I don't know about Mac.
No.
Well, I mean, the 7 people
unique
that still use a
identifying
Mac
key that all computers have.
Dummy. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure the technology is there to be able to kill that, or because like I know with some services you can like authorize, like with iTunes, you have to authorize devices. So you get 5 devices, and I don't think they care who owns the devices, because like my iTunes account, my wife, my daughter, my son all share my iTunes account, so that all of our music is just in the family. So they give you 5 devices you can authorize to run your iTunes account on. So at that aspect, we do. I mean, if I had someone else that wanted my 5th authorization, I could give it to them, and I don't think they even care. But with the way Disney Plus works, that you can stream it on anything with internet, I don't know how that would work. Like, if they caught you, would they ban your account, or would you just be like, I don't even know what they would do to you if they would do anything.
Oh, what did Warzone break, Scott?
Playing with Keith. Keith had to go to bed, so
your real friend had to go to bed.
It's my last night before I'm leaving town. So
are you saying we're getting sloppy seconds? Is what we're getting here?
I guess so.
You missed Tommy V by
about 5 minutes.
Bummer.
Are you gonna play Avengers with me and Keith, or are you skipping that one?
I could be talked into that. What's this?
Betas this weekend if you want to pre-order it. Starts
I'm
Friday
driving
night.
to Florida tomorrow.
Why in the hell would you do that?
What's the story?
My mom is ill.
Oh,
I'm sorry, man.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm
basically
sorry,
it's the last time I'll talk to her.
Okay.
Pretty bad. So yeah.
That sucks, dude.
Sorry. That does suck. I'm sorry to hear
And
that.
it's not a good time either, right?
Yeah. Well,
is something going on in the world?
In Florida?
At least you're able to see her. If she was in a home or something, you wouldn't even be able to do that.
Yeah, no. In fact, she's luckily. I mean, she's staying at her boyfriend's house basically. So he's dealing with it, which he's a saint. I mean, I haven't met the guy, so I don't know. I don't want to bring the group down, but yeah, I mean, it's lucky she's not there because I would not be able to see her.
Yeah,
they would
no,
not let me in.
Well, I mean, this time you actually have something real to bring us down. Usually you just bring us down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are definitely getting Avengers. Me and Keith already pre-ordered it, and we're gonna play some beta this weekend. But we're getting it on PS4. So
we're driving in 3 days. We're gonna take our time to go. We're gonna stop by Gainesville, old stomping ground, see what it looks like 20 years after the fact.
Yeah, it doesn't. The game actually goes live in September though, so you got plenty of time to get back and play. We'll be doing some 4-player co-op on that, so whoever wants to jump in.
PC?
Yeah, it's PC, Xbox, and PS4, but buy it on PS4 because PS4 gets all the exclusive stuff. They get Spider-Man, they get all the content a month early. It's literally should have been a PS exclusive, but they get so much extra shit. So it's not even worth buying on. I originally was getting it on Xbox, and then once they announced all the PlayStation exclusive content, I just switched it over to PlayStation. It's that much better.
Is Xbox losing the current generation? Have they lost?
It lost this generation by a landslide.
I didn't play. I bought that Xbox One X and I have not played a single game on it. I played one game on it, and I
I
forget
like
what-
my
I forget what
Xbox.
it was.
I like my Xbox, but it's
wait, Red
pretty
Dead.
obvious with the exclusive title Sony has that they won this generation.
Well, they just keep stumbling over their. I mean, I'm not going to use bad language, but they just keep tripping over themselves. I'll put it that way. With every
What were you going to
decision
say
they
they were going
make.
to trip over, Lance?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, fine. It seems like Microsoft just keeps tripping on their dick whenever they're trying to do something. You know,
They're
what I mean,
going to
it's
lose.
just like
They're going to lose this generation too, I think.
It's early to call, but yeah, I mean, PlayStation's coming out of the gate with
Coming out of the gate, a
once,
lot,
Spider-Man
once, the, once
game,
the
lot
decline
stronger.
started. I mean, how are they going to get it back? There's too many.
Yeah.
What's the Xbox exclusive that's out there?
Halo.
And
Yeah,
then the
Halo.
most recent.
And Forza Horizon. That's another big one, but yeah, it's not big enough.
That's the first I've ever heard
The
of it.
problem was
Can't
they
be that
lost
big.
me, so they lost their Fable. Bad.
Fa-
But
they
Fable
announced
is, Fable's a launch title.
Fable's a
Oh,
launch
is it?
title. They have a new
Oh,
Fable
wait, no, I
coming
knew
out.
that. Somebody told me that. Yeah.
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 Is
Hey,
there any
Jeremy.
video of it?
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, I got nothing to report on that level, brother.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. You know,
Did any of you guys do Gen Con?
I did a Gen Con solo streams all weekend. Did 6 of
That's
them,
interesting.
Be
Nice.
glad you didn't have to do that Fantasy Flight live stream.
and my shit went smooth, brother.
that was we were talking about that earlier, and I had watched a little bit of I was watching a little bit of the I was bouncing between Joel Eddy and Man versus Evil stream of the live report, the flight report. I'm like, oh, what are you guys gonna talk about for the next hour? Because nothing's happening.
My fingers after that, I looked at text Jeremy, I was like, tough spot to be in.
It was horrible. Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. That's a tough spot to be in. Like, I've had that moment in my life, but it's like when you think, Fantasy Flight level, you got all these big announcements, you got a show plan, all this work.
Did they ever say what happened?
There were
just had,
technical
like,
server
They
issues.
just had server issues. That's
Every
all
time
it
they
is.
tried to cut
Like,
to a video, it killed their
that's it.
stream. So they had
Yeah.
some kind of issue going
I
on.
want to know what the actual problem was because
Yeah.
I need to learn from that.
I don't know that they'll ever
Yeah.
say.
I don't know if they'll ever say, but I mean, like, I just
I'm
watched
sure if you asked them, Scott, they would.
Shit. I just watched this, our stream today, and theirs got clipped out. So I mean, anything can happen, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you're trying to do all this stuff, it's just like anything can happen. So
Live streaming is not a guarantee on any level. That's why sometimes I think it's, even though you lose a little bit of the excitement, and just pre-record. If it's something real important, you may want to pre-record it. You could
Yeah.
pre-record it and have a viewing party and still answer questions live. But man, it's just, there's so many technical difficulties you can have when you're live streaming. It doesn't take
What
much.
were they only live streaming on whatever their own platform was? They weren't.
No, they were
No,
doing
yeah,
Twitch
yeah,
and
something
YouTube, I
Twitch,
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were streaming to Twitch. They just, for whatever reason, they were having technical. It wasn't Twitch, it was them.
I would
The
say,
Twitch stream never died. The chat was there the whole time. It was their feed going out is what was the problem.
Okay.
Something there.
everybody
I
started Twitch accounts.
We did
right before
32
Gen Con.
hours without a hitch. Not to brag.
And that's what's so crazy.
Not to brag.
look at-
Oh,
look at
humble
Big
brag.
guy
I'm
Humble
not
brag.
saying. I
Humble
believe me.
brag.
I, after I saw them go
humble.
down, because they went down on Wednesday night.
Humble
We
brag.
started Thursday.
Look
So
at
yeah,
you.
tell us more.
Hey, your
Tell us
uncle's here.
stories of Gen Con.
Hey, Uncle Kevin.
Hey, Scott,
it
how you
going?
doing today?
Good. Long time no see.
Indeed. How's Michelle?
Good. Good,
Awesome.
good.
Hey, you can get acquainted on your own time.
Well done.
No, I watched Aldi. I watched some of I watched some of your Gen Con coverage. I mean, I was
Cool.
busy too, so but I liked what I saw, man.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it is. It's tricky, but
It's,
the conversations were good, and
I think
like
they
the
were.
Panels,
Yeah,
the
because
panels
when
that
you
were
do
good. Yeah,
when you do 25 minutes, it gives you time
Yeah.
to actually talk about stuff besides like
yeah.
this game is cool.
That's
Why?
what I.
Refined
That's
enough
the
now.
value.
Yeah, you can get more into it.
Right.
Have
I
you-
think that was the cool part about it was I found that even titles that I wasn't interested in necessarily, I was like, I kind of got more of the story behind it. They had to come with it a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. Because if
Yeah.
you're once you're done with your pitch, it's like maybe
Yeah,
there's still
it's like,
15 minutes
nah,
left. So you're
that's-
like, what else do you
that's-
talk about?
You're
We
stuck in
started
a
playing
cage with
turn-
me.
Playing
Are you
turns
ref-
is always the hardest.
Have you
'cause they
refined it
can-
enough now that when you do your next BGG Con live that you know exactly what you're going to do now? You have your roadmap.
Yeah,
For the most
100%.
part? Yeah.
I think
We
I
have
think,
two things to fix.
I think the big one is that like I think publishers are not have to like learn how to come with it from now on moving forward. Because now you've had, whatever you were prepping for Origins, right?
Mhm.
And then you have Gen Con. Then if you're doing the UGK, the UK one, like that's coming up in a couple
Expo.
weeks, like
UK Expo.
you're preparing all these things, and you could have been terrible at it come March.
Yeah.
Kind of prepared for June. Then you did Gen Con, and like now we got like all this time to actually like.
Yeah. By the time you get to the end of the year and you're
Or
going
also
to be
helps
packs, you're going to be
or hire somebody. Damn it!
Every publisher,
Hire somebody.
who came on was ready, who had come on before, right? But all the new ones, of course, Zoom doesn't work for them.
Right.
They don't have their video set up. They don't have their audio set up. So I'm spending time. The way it worked was I sat on Zoom all day, literally, like 8 hours, 9 hours, and talked to 10 or 20 different people as they came on and made sure all their tech works. And it's like, but now as it goes on, each person will understand how Discord works. They'll understand how Zoom works.
Yep.
And they're ready to roll.
It's all a learning process.
So
Every
you
show
were
gets
only
better.
getting like 20 minutes ahead of time before people went on live.
They would only come in 10 minutes ahead of time sometimes.
Wow.
Although Leonard Maltin came in a half an hour ahead, and I'm like, give him the link. I want to talk to him. normally I don't want to. So and this sucked, but this is reality. Like on Sunday, I was falling asleep in between each guest. So I would basically, what I would do is I get the guest on, I would set a 15-minute timer to wake me up, and I fell asleep almost after every guest. It was so, it's so grueling. I mean, normally I have a lot of stamina for this stuff. Like we're at the shows, we do a 10-hour day at the shows, but you got this adrenaline going to keep you going. But when someone's online and I'm just watching them, I fell asleep each time in between. I couldn't keep myself awake.
You're not getting the energy from them that you.
No. You don't get anything. You don't get any of that.
The feedback.
What do you call it when you exercise and you get that
endorphins?
Endorphin. Yeah. There's no I mean, I'm sitting in this chair, and I can't really go anywhere. It's not like I'm, I can
get
walk
yourself a treadmill
downstairs.
Get yourself a treadmill set up.
Well, I'm getting the standing desk. The standing desk is delayed, unfortunately, but I'll get it before Essen.
That's cool. That'll help. Just being able to
if I can just stand for like 5 or 10 minutes each time, I think that'll help me like stay awake. Can you imagine falling asleep on your feet?
Have you guys? I've done it.
Are you guys?
I've been in the military. I've done it plenty of times.
Oh man, I could not do that. I could not do that at all.
Experiencing a fatigue more than
it's a longer fall from the.
The tall man falls hard, man. Tall man falls hard.
To answer your question, yes. I mean,
what was the question?
Fatigue is more. Like,
are you feeling more fatigued more than before?
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing 10 shows a year, and I was traveling to like 7 of them.
Yeah, it's the fatigue though. The fatigue is different. It's like a fatigue from being stuck in
the sameness
office in the same space all day, every day. Whereas the old fatigue used to be the jet lag, the travel, the being away from home, and all that crap. The fatigue now is like, I'm just tired of sitting on my ass in this chair for 9 hours a day.
Your scale and my scale totally different, but I would say I spent every day from like Saturday morning and Sunday, I had a total of maybe 4 or 5 hours, like 4 to 6 hours plus prep and stuff. Yeah, like plus prep and stuff beforehand. And it's just me, right? So, but like that's agonizing, man. Like I didn't realize until I got done. I was like, man, my brain on Monday and Tuesday were just fried.
So worse than going to Gen Con itself.
But right, it's just mentally taxing. But I don't have control boards. I don't have all that stuff. Like it's crazy.
You just turn it on and go.
Yeah, I just turn it on and I go. And that way, since I never stop and I'm having to talk to people the whole time, it doesn't feel like time is going. But the second I'm done and like I go to like no nothing, just like it's not like a day of work. It's like it's just different taxing. Like,
that's
it
interesting.
is.
I mean, we ran it hard at Gen Con because me and Lincoln would get up around 7 or 8, 7:30, meet for breakfast, go to the hotel, go to the convention center, right? Run the show from 10 to whatever. Was it 10 to 5? Or was it 10 to 6?
Well, the hall closed at 6, so you probably
so it was 10 to 6.
Before.
It opened at 10, right?
Yeah,
but we would get there at 9 to set up and everything. So basically we're getting up at 8 and 7:30 really is what my start time was. Go to the hall, go from 10 to 6 straight, no breaks, right? I mean, I think we would rotate a lunch break, but a lunch break was basically just eating. Like the food was brought to us and we just eat, right? So like 10 minutes maybe. and then we would stop and we would go to the food truck to get more food, and then go back to the hot games room till midnight or 1 a.m. and then just do that 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
It was rough. I mean,
I think it's probably
but I felt less
thing.
tired there than I did sitting in my stupid chair all day.
But
Yeah.
like when you're at a convention and you know that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing this, okay, 4 days, then my life kind of goes back to normal, right? You're like gonna be, yeah, you'll be home and you'll still be working, but I mean, like, you just gotta get through these 4 days. You just you have that kind of feeling. And now it's like, okay, after these 4 days, I'm still gonna be here.
Well, you also get the excitement of seeing your friends, and you get the excitement of the dinners and the meetings and the stuff. I mean,
The
when you're doing
adrenaline
it
at Gen
virtual,
Con is
you're doing the same thing you do every other day. You're sitting in front of your computer talking to people through Zoom. It's when you're going to a convention, you're like, it's that excitement of seeing your friends as well as doing your work and all that stuff. It's the whole buzz of being on the floor. You'd lose all that when you're just sitting behind a computer.
And you're on 24/7, if you will, but then Monday comes and you crash and burn.
Yeah.
I have to take the Monday off after.
I do every year.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't.
Flew
Like, I
home on
can't.
Monday, and I would just
I
sleep on
can't.
the plane the whole
Yeah,
time.
we always did.
It's
We
like-
always traveled first thing Monday morning so that we just
Like,
take a travel day and
I
be
made the
done.
mistake of trying to because it's in the Midwest, so I could drive home afterwards. So it's like, 4:35, 4:35 I'll go. It's like usually 4 or 5 hours home. But like even then, it's just risky, man. Like
That's a long drive.
I've lost my keys. I've I'm just doing tired. I'm doing tired things. Like I left my bag, and I left my bag in a spot where I had to go back in the hall. The bag was ripped, so then I had stuff I had to go back and forth to get and make sure the hall was open when I came. Like just doing stupid tired stuff. So I was like, I gotta stay till Monday.
I am completely worthless to Monday after Gen Con. My wife knows it. I come home.
You can remove all after completely worthless.
Yep, pretty much. She knows. Just go sit down, get on the couch,
Likewise.
let the dogs lick you, watch cartoons. That's all I do.
One thing I missed about Gen Con this year, not being there, is not like seeing Shane being so pissed off on Wednesday about something. It doesn't matter what Gen Con is. It's like I've never been in his employ during a Gen Con, so it's like that. I always see him at Gen Con on Wednesday. Hey Shane, how you doing? How the fuck am I doing? I'll tell you how.
I like
There's always
those
something
kind of
going
calls.
wrong.
I love those kind of calls. Those are fun.
To be fair, Wednesday is when you're setting up and the hall is ridiculously hot.
Yeah, 90
No,
degrees.
believe me, everybody's on
You're
edge
roasting and you come strolling up like you haven't done anything.
Oh, he
all
hasn't.
day.
He hasn't. He doesn't have a bead of sweat on him.
Cool.
He's the talent.
He's the talent.
Yeah.
He shows up
Shows
after the
up.
booth's already set up. I've seen that walk.
Yeah, just schmoozing around, just pressing palms, kissing babies, whatever.
Mhm. Trying to scoop games. Yeah, I know the Lance walk on Wednesday. We're all busting our ass trying to get our booth up, and Lance comes walking by. Oh, so what you guys got at this show, huh? Lance, I'm working. Oh, I'll come back later as I walk around casually.
Get his review copies.
Well,
Get your review copies early. Yep.
if you want some revenge next year, or if you want some, not really revenge, but next year at Gen Con,
I do.
stop by our booth during the setup.
I do, because I don't set up anymore
His
now.
ass
so-
ain't leaving the booth until it's set up.
Excellent.
Wow,
I'm
look at
not
that.
really
We
part
got
of
that to
setup
look forward
anymore,
to.
so I will definitely come pay Lance a visit and watch him grunt and sweat for a while.
Yeah, just bring like a really cold drink,
Could do that.
and just make sure you don't look sweaty, and you'll see how he gets annoyed.
Have 2 bags of games over your shoulders and be like,
Oh
"What do you
yeah. I'm going to drop these
Yeah.
off to media talent.
Yeah.
Lance?"
I like it.
That was a grueling. I mean, that the Gen Con setup I do not miss. We rebranded last year, so we had everything new. Plus, all our T-shirts got delivered, which was way too many.
Yeah. As
They
much
buy
as I
them
miss
Dallas.
a
They
lot
went
of things
straight
from
to
Gen
media.
Con, I don't miss setup and tear down.
Yeah, it was a rough year last year.
Mhm.
Richard, did you get your pandemic yet?
Oh, Scott.
That was just.
Or did I not bring that?
That was a topic from earlier. We've already covered Aldi. That
Yep.
just
That's my weekly ongoing grievance.
I'm
has
trying
been-
to help you out here. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, but you guys have played Pandemic, right?
Here's a copy.
got
with
so many
all the,
copies,
they're
this
throwing
has
them
got all
away.
the. Here's one with all the.
All that
envelopes
you play
open.
Pandemic.
Richard, you know why
right?
we have 2, right? You know
Sorry,
we
what?
have 2, though, right? Well,
Yeah,
we
I
did
know.
we did the live stream. Believe me, I if I could snap my fingers and give that to you, I would right now.
No, I would not take it away from Lincoln and Nikki. I would not
That's my
want
only thing is Lincoln had a plan.
No, it's I would not be able to enjoy it knowing I've taken it from somebody else who wants it as much as me.
You're a
I
better
don't think
man
Like I
than
said,
anyone.
if
You
there was
know,
a
Rich-
world, if there was like
If
something I could do, I could just reach down.
Ri- Richard,
Yeah, I
if-
don't know. It's still in shrink. I don't know when I'm going to get to it. Just throw it behind me.
Richard, if I knew you wanted it that badly, I know Matt. I can tell him
pull
to
the
send
lever,
it.
we can still do that.
I mean,
Maybe.
I've
I
known
don't know if
Matt
they've
for
got
25
That's the
years,
problem.
so it's not like a hard thing for me to do.
If he has extra ones, I will happily pay the shipping.
All right, I'll ask Matt.
I
can-
appreciate it. Thank you.
I can text him. He usually
Trying to
responds
make things happen.
in 4 or 5 minutes.
See what happens when I bring people together?
Look at you. Look at
the
you.
Alaboom making it happen.
Nothing's happened yet. Let's be clear.
The Alaboom making talk about things happening happen.
Uh,
I was wondering if anybody had done any of the Gen Con events,
No.
the plays.
I
or
hosted a
anything.
bunch
Like
and
you guys
lost
did
my
did you guys
mind.
do the
teaching
$2?
people things.
Did you do the $2 thing?
Yeah, I hosted. I mean, and I'm gonna. I mean, like I said, I had one where and I've told Scott this story already, but I went through the entire. I mean, admittedly, Arcana Rising, you can teach it in about 10 minutes. You know,
Yeah, so quick.
and it's
game,
just like
quickie.
I'm like, and I wrap up. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and reload the board here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get your first 6 cards in your hand. And a guy literally said, I was on the phone. Could you repeat that? I was like, yeah, we're just gonna reload, and I'll send you the 6 cards. No, I didn't hear any of the gameplay.
Oh, jeez.
I think at that point you just boot yourself out, right? Like
Not this guy. He
Isn't
paid
that
his
like-
two. He
isn't that the
paid
right
his
thing to do?
$2. Damn it!
Oh, man.
So I just said I'm gonna have to walk you through each one of your turns, because I said it wouldn't be fair. You know, it was just like, but I was just like, what? You gotta be kidding me! And I can hear everybody else in the group just.
I would have liked to find out some of the things from other people who are demoers, because of course there's always going to be some challenges of TTS, Tabletopia. You got a lot of first timers. I'm thinking like maybe in the future, I don't know what you guys did, Scott, but maybe giving people like a short video, a preview of how to use it properly going in,
Well,
so
there's
that people
plenty
get
of them
that.
on YouTube.
We've talked about
No, you can't. No, that's not how it works. People always feel, no, that's not how it works. You got to, I'm a trainer by day. Trust me. That's not how it works. You have to give people everything.
Yeah.
You have to
So
give
how
it
do
to them.
you know how
So,
to do it like live?
so what you can do is you can actually do it both ways. You can do it like you can create a pre-recorded one with somebody that's like kind of known or whatever, and take somebody, or you can do it in-house and like make a quick little thing. And then, just kind of say, hey, this is like the basic functions, so you know how to use it. 5 minutes tops when they sign up for an event, or
Right.
like,
Send them that link.
hey, or you can say, hey, Gen Con is coming, da 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 da. If you don't know how to use Tabletopia, if you don't know how to use TTS, click this link, and then it's a quick little video that you created, because people know that it's online.
There was the really nice guy that he was trying to find our server for the game, and admittedly, I'm not. If this guy somehow hears this and gets upset, I'm not. But it was tough, because I was like, it was somebody who definitely, it was like probably using their son's computer, and I was just like, and the fact, and I was like, okay, so you just need to search for the server. They couldn't find it. They couldn't find it. They couldn't find it. They couldn't find it. And I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and look at your screen. And then trying to get that person to share their screen, and they couldn't figure out how to do that. And we were just like, and finally we realized that like he doesn't even have Steam installed on the computer.
Oh God.
He's been
So that's another thing.
He's been searching for the server in Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
I think a
that's
lot
a
of
thing
people-
though. But that's
That was
the
a thing.
though.
We had a lot of people-
That's the
A
thing.
lot of these people have never used a lot of this stuff before, so it's like brand new
Yeah.
to them.
They're just eager. They're just eager to play, and like you want to set them up to fail, and you also don't want to set up the demoers to fail either, because the demoers
Okay,
they're under the pressure of just knowing the game. First of all,
So
we
I'm
got
gonna
the
ask
first
this.
day of convention
I
stuff,
want to
and
ask.
people
I
not
want to
knowing the
ask
game.
the panel. Then I want to ask the panel. At what point, if you sign up to be a part of an event, at what level of like preparedness is the default? That like the minimal acceptable level of somebody that's going to be coming in and doing, like, it isn't like they're coming over to your table and sitting down at Gen Con and learning the game, where like you can, like, where there's human beings at the table, and if you are actually impeding upon them in some way, there's a social construct there that's gonna be saying, hey, you this is lame. but if it's like in a virtual world, what's the minimum level of prep that the person that's coming to demo the game should have or should be
The person paying the $2 to participate, what's their minimum, or what's the demoer's minimum?
Yeah, did you mean the customer or
Yeah, I wasn't clear
publisher?
exactly what you meant.
He thinks you're gonna.
I'm not. I don't know why he's thinking that. I
He
had
thinks
3
you're
or
gonna
4
rise to
opportunities and
Skywalker
I haven't
him.
done it yet.
To answer your question, Richard, the person that wants to demo the game, like they signed up.
The person paying the $2.
Yeah, the
So
person paying the
minimum, I would say
$2,
they need
they've
to
done
know the
everything they need to
platform it's
do.
being played on. At least the basic functions, like Jeremy said. YouTube a few videos. There's probably 100 of them. Or spend some time on the platform playing around until you're familiar with how to flip cards and how to move tokens and how to log into a server and log out. I mean, it's not a lot. You're talking about maybe 30 minutes of prep time to figure this stuff out.
I think they should know enough to be able to go to a website when told to and type in a number.
Yeah.
And that's all they should need to have to do.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that when you
And
do
which is to
these-
say, it
Yeah.
should be on Tabletopia instead of
Right.
Tabletop Simulator.
Right.
because
and that
fuck
is
Tabletop Simulator.
that's very true. And I feel like you always start with training. You always think of the bottom end first,
Mhm.
and you just realize that people are starting from zero, and they just want to play your game. They just walked up to your booth, and they want to play your game, but it's not that same territory. But that's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, Lance, if you were on Tabletop Simulator, all they need to know is how to go to tabletopsimulator.com and then type in whatever the number for your game is. At
With
that
a
point,
timed
you
demo,
can do
that could be problematic
everything for
because
you.
everyone learns at different speeds. So if they don't even have basic knowledge of the platform,
Yeah.
you could almost
think you-
literally chew through your entire playtime just trying to get them
put
to learn
that
how to play the game.
into the event itself. What
Yeah.
kind of expertise? Like
And
zero.
that's the kind of problems you run
You
virtually.
know, you use Tabletopia. You know, you use Tabletop Simulator. You know,
If
you
player
know,
A knows Tabletop Simulator and is ready to go, and then player B has no knowledge except how to get there, then player A is super frustrated waiting 20 minutes for this guy to learn how to flip cards and move a token.
I would also like to know, like, just length. How do you demo these games in the proper amount of time to represent your product? Even a game that's, let's say 45 minutes, and you know how we read these games. 45
like
to
Arcana
60,
Rising,
90 minutes.
plays up to
like
6 players,
whatever,
and you
dude.
played in 30 minutes or less.
I
with
think,
It's like, so it's like, you know, within
Shane, what is this?
2
Pixar
hours,
over?
2 hours, it would take literally a 45 to 60-minute game.
Sure.
Easy.
My
Like, and that's
expectation-
assuming that people know how to use Tabletopia with, with at maximum,
And
minus
that doesn't
banter,
even account for internet lag or disconnects and reconnecting, waiting for people. That's all on top of that.
banter, knowing the rules. Does a person need to confirm rules over and over? Like, it's just so much. So you got to figure that out, man.
But thankfully, some of the sites at least have the rules built in. Plus, you lose or I should say, you gain the time by not having to set up the table ahead of time.
Yes.
I mean, all that cleanup and placing before and after a game really moves the amount of time that you spend more in playing than in setting up and all the other paraphernalia that goes around.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the
that'll save
reality
some time.
is, I would expect. I mean, because I just went through this. I hadn't touched Tabletopia for 3 years, and I went and played on my friend's birthday to help him out. When I got there, I was a complete babe in the woods, and everybody else around the table knew what they were doing, and they did everything for me. Because these are open platforms. Anybody can move my pieces around for me. Anybody can move my victory point tracker for me. And I think that's what you have to be prepared to do.
Yes.
There's only one thing that a customer needs to know how to do. And it is the one thing they have to learn is whatever the system is for closed hands. And that, that really sucks for Arcana Rising because everybody has to keep their hand secret. I would almost be inclined to say, you know what, when we're demoing Arcana Rising, everybody's hand is on the table and everybody can see, and that's just the way it's going to be, because then all a player has to do is just look at their cards and you could do all the heavy lifting for them.
That's a
And you
great
just
option,
assume
Richard.
that
And
they literally
that's
can't handle
something
anything.
that I think we all do when we try to teach a game, is that we play open hand so
Yes.
that you can show them why you made that choice.
Yep.
Interesting.
I
Yeah, I
just
mean,
like the idea of, like, what you're saying, Mr. Ham, is exactly what the person who's demoing the game should be doing. Like, even when you play with a group of people, like, usually one of the people in our game is like the upkeep person. Like, they're moving the stuff from the bag. They're resetting this stuff. Your job is maybe to grab a couple of your pieces and push them in so they can smack them all up with the shift key and throw them in the bag. da 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 da, and then
Yeah.
everybody is helping once they know the game. They're helping once they know the game, but most of the time there's just a person that's general upkeep, moving your score marker, saying, hey, these are the things that just came out this round. Like we played Clinic online, and they like instead of me like worrying where everything else was, they were like, this color doctor, this color doctor, this color doctor came out, orange patient, white patient, yellow patient. I'm like, perfect. Like I could just look at my board the whole time like I would if I was there, So, that's also a thing. Like when I go to Gen Con the first day, everybody seems to be learning the game they're supposed to be teaching. So, so the thing is there's that, plus they have to be an expert at Tabletopia or TTS,
Yep.
and then teach these people who are starting from zero and whatever. Now, like I said, we are getting closer to the end of this year. People are going to have to get better at it, and because of course everything sucks already, everything stinks already, right? And we don't want to poo-poo something that may be part of our future, but we know that this first year is going to be a learning experience for our industry. I just feel like now publishers, hey man, it's on you. Like you want to sell your games. I mean, like,
I wonder if
you gotta
this
you gotta
almost
start making
opens
this right.
the door for someone to come in and build a better TTS or Tabletopia, a version or a model that would actually handle the modern board game scene better than maybe those do. Make it more user friendly. Make it dummy proof. Is there a company that could come in and put the resources in to make a platform that's more dummy proof?
There is another platform. I just got invited to a game the other day. I'd never heard of it, and it's basically a 3D platform that does have rules enforcement. I can't remember the name of it now.
The rules are built in it, like they just built into it.
That's their USP.
If you ever play Catan VR, their system for that,
you know what?
Amazing.
Board Game Arena does that. Like Board Game Arena,
unfortunately, it's really old looking.
Like I played Rally Band on that. Perfect. I mean, you couldn't do anything wrong. You like no arguing over does that 1 and that 3 go where it's supposed to go. We were like, no, baby.
Sounds like a company could make a killing if they came in and made a modern platform that people would actually want.
There's so little money.
It's
Absolutely.
Is that the
everybody
problem?
wants it free.
I think so, personally. How many subscribers do you think Tabletopia has?
Oh, I don't know. Steam's a big platform, though. I'm sure.
Well, that's Tabletop Simulator.
Oh, that's
Tabletopia is the other. I just feel like there's. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
I would assume maybe 150,000.
That would be a lot.
That's a lot.
That's $10 a month. What is it?
Well, no,
Hold on, I'll look at
only because of COVID. Because I do know.
I would bet there's more on Yucca
COVID,
than there is on
were
Board
on
Game
life
Arena
support.
at this point, because Yucca has been around so much longer. But what I do like about Board Game Arena is the ability to play live.
Take a guess.
It's
How
really
many
hard
people
to
are
do
playing
that
right
in
now on
Yucca, I
Tabletopia?
think.
Guess how many people are playing on Tabletopia right now?
57.
More than that.
Well,
58.
219.
Tabletop Simulator has about 19,400 user reviews on Steam's platform, assuming not everyone's going to review it, but that's a lot less than I was expecting. I wonder if there's a place that actually shows total downloads.
Did you say 400 and something?
200.
200.
Yeah, that's
219 online. I don't know how many playing. Probably less. If it's
Well, it's an odd time to think.
I think what it is there's no consensus on what the best platform is yet.
Well, it is kind of divided. There's so many.
181 in game.
Table TTS is good because you can program modules like to perfection if you do it really well. Like I've seen some ones that are like Tang Garden. You can put any module you want in there by clicking on a button and it sets up the entire module, or you can throw as much as you want in there. But like on Tabletopia, it's the most sexiest platform. It's got this beautiful graphics and layout, but the servers crash all the time, and it burns your PC. Like it literally burns your PC up if you don't have enough RAM. So they both could like come together and make a baby and it'd be perfect. But
You know how many players are playing Warzone?
500,000.
50 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say millions.
50
millions.
million. Yeah. So it's like if you want to be, just being a programmer in the world of board gaming, it's not lucrative.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll be a video game programmer.
Yeah.
You could make an app that could have 50 million players.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think it means that there needs to be a consensus and a merging, if you will, of the various sites to the point that there's one or two major sites that we can go to rather than this disparate, which way are we going because of what game we want to play?
I just don't know. I mean, I'm a technologist, right? I think everything can be solved by technology. I don't know if board games can. I'm not convinced yet. I want
I'm not either.
It kind of defeats the purpose of them.
Yeah.
We all like, okay, here's
You digitalize it
go
too
to
much,
evidence.
and people are just going to play computer games. I mean,
3,000 tickets gave away for VGC, 300 redeemed.
No,
I
I
found
disagree because there was a and you did this, Scott, years ago. You had who was it from Days of Wonder on, and he was
Eric.
talking about how they put rats the rail game
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride
Yeah.
online,
Yeah.
and he said categorically that even though people were playing it online, it actually upped sales of the board game itself. And I think that's still true.
You
I
know,
don't think that's really changed.
But do you have the vice versa, right? Like that obviously is a mega hit.
True.
But will, let's say, Arcana Rising
Would an
generate
app
as much online
app
sales?
help the physical sales? Card games are a little different story, though. A lot of people like playing card games on app version better because they can play it anywhere. And
Some years ago at
Star
Kubla
Realms and
Khan-
stuff like that.
I'm still not
Kubla Khan ran a feeder to the National for
Catan.
Ticket to, or for Catan.
Yeah.
And what we saw was that a woman came in who had never played on a physical board prior to that point. She had only played online. And she ended up winning and going to Gen Con for the finals.
Oh, wow. I just feel like the numbers aren't ready yet because we just had the major influx of all these digital apps releasing. We had a huge initiative from Asmodee that ended up, not surviving. But they had a new huge initiative they were coming off. We have Direwolf that's about to release some major titles, and now they even have Root coming. So they're making new deals right now. They did a deal with Floodgate too. So like these new things are coming. We just don't we don't have enough data to say, hey, like because this person played Root online and it was fantastic, they went and bought the game. Like they went and bought the physical game. Like honestly, the one example I have anecdotally is that I did not care for Sagrada the first time I played it, and I got a code for the digital game, and I played the hell out of that game. And then I ended up getting all of the Sagrada stuff. So,
I'm sure
your argument there. You're not
That is
helping.
my point exactly. Absolutely.
but I was like,
here's
oh
the
my
deal.
god! I was like,
We
I
have
love
had-
this game.
We have had digital online chess for decades. The majority of people in the world still play chess in person.
Yeah.
They do both. They do both.
Yeah, they do both.
They
But
do
see,
both.
the
There are
exact opposite
hardcore people
happened.
who play it online.
They do both.
Exact opposite happened with like Star Realms. I used to play Star Realms in the store when it first came out. As soon as I got the app, I never touched the card game again. It's got dust on it.
I actually
Because
played
you can play it
chess
solo.
a week and a half ago. So yes, and in person no less.
Most of the time, if it's a card game or a deck builder and it's online, it's the better way to play it. At least for me.
It is.
Yeah.
By
the way,
Shards of Infinity literally died once that app.
Once the app went out, exactly.
I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I don't
Yeah,
even
it's
need the game
fast,
anymore.
and you can play with anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Yep.
Like, dude, like they can't even sell this game to me. It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
who was the guy that did all of those big games and then went out of business? What was the name of that company? It was an iPad guy. It was like one guy. You remember?
Flappy Bird dude? Flappy
no,
Bird
it was
dude
board-
sold
board
his and
game.
he's
No, it was
fine.
a board game guy.
Okay.
I think he did Puerto Rico.
Oh,
You guys remember that?
No.
That's
Yeah.
another BGA title.
I
by
mean,
the
once
way.
you type,
Board
once
Game
you
Arena
start, I
title.
don't know. I want it to succeed. Virtual conventions are fun. I had a good time playing. I just don't know if it'll ever. I don't know if Gen Con released the numbers of what they did.
Oh, I will.
As far as
So do you think? Okay, so this is the thing. We're in year one of this. This is zero. This is zero. Zero year, right? This is 0 year.
Oh, good point.
I think 0 year. Screw it. This is what it is, right? Let's learn. Let's do it. Whatever.
no, I'm
Do
all
you
for it.
think? Do you think that magic wand, coronavirus gone, everything's perfectly okay, post-elect, everything's okay. We're just going into the schedule for 2021. Everything's on. Do you feel like there's still going to be a want for at least one digital convention? At least one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're doing another. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it annually.
Yeah,
Now.
because I feel like there should be
Oh, yeah.
at least one.
There's I mean, there's several
Yeah.
thousand people who it services
Yeah.
that can never go to conventions.
Right.
And think of
Can't
and
afford
like
to
think
travel.
about it. Think about it. Like if Gen Con could really be a full week for everybody. So it's like the digital, like because we just have industry stuff on like Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's like, what if you did it? I mean, that would give people way more time for promotion. So trust me, people will line up for this. They'll say, hey, like from Monday through Sunday, like that's insane, but it's insane. But I'm just saying, people would probably be like, that's cool. Like pre-Gen Con, I mean, dude, they have pre-everything and everything in the world. Like
there's a small
pre-sports. Yeah, there's
I don't know if it's big enough for it to get Gen Con's attention, right?
I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it may not be a different convention. I just don't
Plus,
I feel like it
I
has to be stapled
don't
to
know
something.
that it would be free, but I do think that it would be easier to get a greater audience if they reduce the price from what it takes to actually be there. And what's true is that you don't have the cost of travel, you don't have the cost of the hotel, of food or whatever, it's all in your house or whatever. But if there was a nominal fee, I think you'd see a drawing of,
I think
half a
swag
million
bag,
people, for example.
swag bag for virtual players, like
Yep,
for
that
virtual
would
people,
do.
like I'm serious. Like if you did $20, like just $20 for the whole weekend, but you send them a decent swag bag, like
they'd be
people
all on
would
it.
people
Go
would line up
all
for that
over
shit,
it.
And
man.
that would help alleviate the
line up,
floodgates too, because Gen Con gets
It
so
just-
crowded.
Dude, I'm serious like that. Like
I need to hear Shane's
right.
thoughts on this.
Shane,
I want to hear Shane's. Do you think here's the thing: $20 is a hard sell for an online convention. By the way,
20
Oh,
is a
I don't think
20 is-
so. I think 20 is
20 ain't
easy.
a hard sell for a swag bag. It ain't a hard sell if you throw a swag bag.
It's a hard sell when you get nothing, right? It's all about
Right.
perceived value, right? So if you
Right, perceived
if you
value.
tell people,
always.
look, it's going to cost you 20. Heck, you could even say it's going to cost you $50. But if you get enough publishers together to throw in some halfway decent promos for good games, I don't think anybody would even blink twice about it. They'll be like,
Not
yeah,
at
I
all.
get, because each promo card is going to cost me a penny to make, and each person that gets one is going to be like, well, this is worth $5
Or 10,
Yeah.
or more.
This is
Exactly.
worth
right, or more.
$5,
But like most people, like it's like when you see a card, you're like, well, I pay $5 for promos. That's like kind of the, I don't know. Like for me,
I mean-
that's like kind of the standard, right? Like if I go to
Exactly.
If I said you were going to get like okay, so like let's just say it was like this. Like you'll say, hey, it's $20. I'm gonna do 25. I'm just gonna push the limits right here.
Sure.
So then
why
I'll
not?
say I'll push the limits, right? We're just making up a convention, right? So when we do this, we'll say, hey, like we're gonna send you a promo from I don't know, pick Arcane Wonders or something like that. Like a yellow for King of Tokyo, something like that. So people will go nuts right away, right? And then like a mystery game from one of the sponsors. So it's
Okay.
like for one of your sponsors. So it'll be a game that's with like $30 MSRP or less or whatever. So people like, oh, snap. Like you're going to get a small promo pack and this game. And that launches. And like, although I know some publishers will be like, man, that's a lot to take an L on. Like you're trying to tell me like, why don't you just, I'm thinking Arcane Wonders because they had Air, Land, and Sea, which is an 18 card game. They're selling them like hotcakes. Throw them all in these packs. People will sign up. That's like 2,000, 3,000 copies.
And
3,000 copies.
throw in a miniature from CMON, and there you go.
Right. And I was just going to say that, but I don't want to.
Who does the shipping?
We could probably do that.
Does the convention?
Yeah,
Does the convention
well, yeah,
do
I
the
think
shipping,
the
or does the
I
publisher
think
do the shipping?
whoever organizes
I'm not going to get that. Yeah. But I know. We're just trying to live in a fictitious world right now.
Once I have my final numbers from VGC, I'll let you guys know. Because we had exactly what you're describing, Jeremy.
Yeah. Okay.
Shipping sucks.
Shipping sucks. It always does.
You want to make any
not
money?
cheap.
Right.
Which is why
Very
if you do
simple.
small promos, you can keep the price down on the shipping
Yeah.
to a lot.
Yeah.
If you take out the game and you just put 7 or 8 promo cards and maybe a miniature
No,
or two,
okay.
then now you're talking about $5 ship pack.
So
Yep.
you can
More like
okay, so I'll counter you. All right, because I love to have a good counter. So let's say you do this, it's virtual, right? So people who
Yeah.
attend the virtual, they pay 25. We keep it at 0, or we keep it at like $5 on our end, but we say $20 goes back to our virtual store. And you can use that to your virtual store. So like it converts over to a sale in a virtual store.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We did that too, but we'll see.
Wow.
I don't
No,
have the
you
numbers.
did you?
We did.
Well,
Yeah, you did.
I
I'm
like
just
it.
curious. I mean, I think we had some good ideas for beginners.
Okay, I already
Just
know. I feel like
financial.
this. I at least know the person who sold. I know the person who sold the most at Gen Con. The numbers ain't good.
Well, okay.
Mm.
You can't
Well,
share anything.
Numbers ain't good.
it's not. But I mean, I think
Yeah.
one of the problems that we have, or that you have with this, is going back to the platform used to play games.
Hmm.
It would be, I think, a lot easier to sell this, but because of the platforms that are currently being used, I think there's a lot of people that do I really want to, like, when you go to a con, you're like, I'm going to a con, I'm going to spend 4 days, I'm going to barely sleep, I'm going to hang out with my friends, we're going to have fun, we're going to play a bunch of games, and I don't know that you can't get that same feeling from a virtual con.
Can't.
Well, you lose a lot of the impulse buy too. Like if someone's at the CMON booth demoing a game and the game is for sale 10 feet away, you have a much better chance of directing that person over. But unless the app you're playing the game on has you can pre-order the game right here.
Feature table night, game feature table night. Tonight we have Come On. Come On's game is going to be on there. It's going to be on sale. You get it now 15% off. You get it now for free shipping right now if you buy for MSRP.
That's exactly it.
It unlocks at 7 p.m. and it is, the 500 copies we have. It's going to sell during that time. You can't make that time. Sorry, FOMO.
Yeah.
You're going to have a shit ton of people on your stream. Like it's going to be insane. It's going to be but that's what I'm saying. Like this is year 0. These things can be figured out.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is year 0. It can be figured out.
Come on, there's 250,000 idiots traveling to Sturgis for a biker rally. Nobody is thinking they're going to be like everybody. I mean, I don't want to be the negative Nancy here, but I mean,
Bring us back down to earth.
No, come on.
No, I mean, it'd be wonderful.
TED Talk coming up.
I know. I mean, it's just like we may have Origins next year. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just like we may, but I wouldn't count on it. I mean, our country is so stupid, and it's just like, and like, I mean, like I said, it's just like they're expecting 250,000 people. I've been to Sturgis. I've been there. It is wall to wall flesh. You cannot like walk 2 feet without running into a human being. If you go and get in that strip and you walk around, you go to the campgrounds, it's like there are clusters of 100, 150 people all revving up their engines all day long. Everybody's got 17 kegs and everybody's having, I mean, admittedly, it's not going to be 800,000 people like they normally get or whatever it is, but that's 250,000 people that are just like, nope, it's fine. Let's go.
Where is this?
Opening up schools and kids are coming home with corona the next day.
Where is Sturgis?
Sturgis, South Dakota. The biker
So
rally.
where is Essen in all of this? Where are they going to be, and how are they going to deal with what games are available? I mean, that's the next big one that's really coming,
man.
and we have to think about.
We're prepping, and I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. It's a whole different territory. I don't know who runs those things. And I don't feel like we know enough people who run these things.
I was ranting there, and somebody sidelined me. I mean,
I wonder where Sturgis was. What were you trying to say?
We're talking about. So the thing is that we can do an online convention. This is great. This is awesome. Here's the deal. It's like, as long as we're dealing with a sizable chunk of the people that live in the US who have the mentality of, you know what, I don't have to do this online because I want life to be back to normal. So you know what? Open up the schools, open up the
No,
parks,
no,
open
no.
up
Stop,
the beaches.
stop. Please. I can't go there right now.
Well, I know, but I mean, and as long as a sizable chunk of those people are saying that, they're going to consider going and sitting in front of the computer and being there playing an online game with a bunch of strangers and trying to figure out board game arena or whatever. That they're going to look at that as like as a fail. Like, oh, I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I've like I said, I don't want to be the negative Nancy here.
If you're not
I
being
hate
negative,
to
you're
say
being
that you've got a
realistic.
point.
Yeah,
And yeah.
Aldi could throw
out there
BGG
that are
this
gonna be that way.
November like he does every year, and he would get decent attendance. He just
he
would.
would get decent attendance, but we nowhere even close to what he gets normally.
I don't think big groups are allowed to. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if he's even allowed to.
Well, well, let's say we were allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean, what's the long-term ramifications? Even when things are back to normal, you know that there's going to be at least some percentage of people that are not going to come back to conventions.
Yeah, for a while.
I get into regular arguments with my family about it.
Yeah,
you know,
so do
just
I.
like, you know,
Will Gen Con ever hit
You
80,000
think
again?
we're on the cusp of coming back to normal? Are
You
you
think
think
so?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, I mean, and I love my mother, but she was like, oh, I was thinking I'd pick up the kids and I'd take them to the park, and I said, no fucking way. I was just like, you know, you want to come and stand in the backyard and throw the ball for the dogs or something? Great, come on over, you know. But there's no way well, I'm safe. I haven't been around. Yeah. You know what? I don't know anybody else that's there. You know, I mean, it's just like when we're sitting here, we're waiting 1 week to hear from what like our school district's going to do. And I've called every number I can find, and I've told them, what the fuck are you planning? You know, and like, I mean, it sucks too, because my kids are going crazy. They haven't seen their friends forever.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
It amazed me how much I
Even
learned
all the
about
adults.
my family through this.
A few weeks ago, there were a couple of 4-year-olds on our block, and they saw each other. They saw each other for the first time, and they like wanted to run together. And both mothers went, "Oh my God, no, you can't do that." And how are you going to stop how children react? You really can't.
Children are literally gross, man. Like I don't even understand why. Like I'm serious. Like think about okay. If I was like seriously, the first thing kids are gonna do, one, they're gonna hug, they're gonna share. Kids are gonna be licking stuff. Kids are gonna be licking their hands, and they're gonna be like, "You have corona, I have corona, you have corona."
They're gonna be playing corona tag in the playground.
There's gonna be a corona kid, and this kid is gonna get bullied because he's
Corona kid sounds like a great supervillain name.
And then if you get the bug at school, like like every school year, like kids are getting sick. They just get sick, and like or they get their parents sick. Sister gets sick. She comes home. People get sick. Well, that's a whole different ball game now. So like and like when that kid comes back, he's a corona kid. He's gonna kill us all. Or the parents are gonna say they can't come back to the school. I don't even want to talk about it, man, because it makes me so.
I gave Lance a list of questions that I saw posted online. Did you go through any of those questions?
Oh yeah, I went through it all. And
with your school people.
Sucks. I mean, it's just like and I asked him. It's like I was like, I was like, I'm fortunate in the fact that I have health coverage, and if my kids got sick, I could we and it was just like, but there are lots of kids in our school that aren't that fortunate. How are you going to? I mean, who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for their care? Who's going to pay for your care?
Where were you, Jeremy? Where were you going with this?
Oh no, man! I could
kids
go
are
to so
gross.
many places.
Like kids are gross.
Kids are gross. I mean, that's what I tell people. Like, man, so like it's going to be very. It's just very unsafe. As a former middle school teacher, man, I've seen how kids
if you got sick from a kid, what would you do? Like you'd have to go home.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you do? And I have to go away from my job. I work at a federal job. Like,
would you get paid if you were sent home?
From where I live,
kid
scared the shit out of my wife.
One kid got corona, and they had to quarantine their entire classroom. 36 kids.
There is an answer here. There's an answer here. Nobody wants to accept it.
E-learning.
It's an utter and total complete shutdown for at least with not anybody
3
on the
weeks
street.
at
Like
least.
you're getting arrested if you're on the street. Really, you are.
Exactly.
It's
nobody.
totalitarian, but it would work.
it would work. And
It
we
just
we're so
never-
we're
it
so
will never
free,
happen
man.
here.
We're so
Yeah.
free, man. We're
We
so
live free and die.
You
We
know
live
what?
free and die.
We're having
Hey,
this
that's
conversation.
a
We're
license
having
plate.
this
Live free or
conversation.
die.
I mean, like honestly, we are having this conversation. We could literally all be killed in another country right now for having this
Yeah, I know.
conversation. Like we are so free, as I tell people. Like don't like whatever your opinion is, just realize what you just said is because you're so free. All right. Like
Well,
that's it.
did you see
That's
that?
it. We don't have that. Nobody
you
else
can-
has that.
You can find it on the interwebs,
Yeah.
but somebody posted something where it's like, it's like you can go to the beach. It's not that crowded, and they showed this picture of like this
Not that
family,
crowded.
and it was like a pro we can open up thing, and it was like a picture of their family at the beach, and like they took it. You can tell they're standing in the water. And it's like, and all you can see is just beach. There's nobody else there. And there's like basically a family of 4. And they're like, and he's like, you can go to the beach. It's not that crowded. We can open things up. And then like it came out that it was like this. It was like taken at a private beach of like their rich uncle. It's like,
we just had Wisconsin. The beach was when the last week when the weekend the beach was open. It was like mass hysteria. And people, man, I'm serious. Like. I am one of the things I was saying when this finally started to hit, and I was thinking like to myself, we're so free that we don't feel it until something happens to us, like physically to our lives. So I was like, what if we just said something like this, and it would only have to be this way. If I said coronavirus looked like herpes simplex 2, like. It looked like herpes, general herpes.
Yeah, people be scared a lot more.
Oh, nobody will go outside. Absolutely nobody will go outside. That's the thing. Because it doesn't. Right. Like they were like, oh my God. And they would just show it on the news one time and like, it looks like this. No! Like, and I think that's why it's always going to be that way. Nobody.
Well, here's the thing. 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
We gave up the right to not be searched. That's a constitutional right?
Yes.
Without cause.
Right.
And we're searched every single time we go to the airport, not without fail, like every time, and treated basically without rights. Like you have to be searched or you're not going in. So we can give up staying indoors for a couple months or whatever it takes.
And tons of people point to that as the I stopped being friends with somebody that I was friends with for a very long time when they said, I will, when in doubt, he's like, my decisions are based upon preserving my freedoms. And I was just like, and then I was just like, yeah, but like, that's not that. So what should happen? He was like, hey, if it means 10% of this country dies to preserve our freedoms, I mean, we've done that in war. What? How is this different? And I was like,
yeah, we don't have
because I was like, because this is preventable. That's why, you fucking moron. And
it's only temporary.
And the
could be.
people that went to war at least had a choice in choosing to go to war, as opposed to those that tried to wear a mask and tried to socially distance, and somebody said, "Oh, I'm not going to wear a mask," and then infected them.
Did you guys see that
obituary? Where was their
obituary?
choice in all of that?
I saw that. I know which one you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
The family. That was so heartbreaking.
I mean, well, it's heartbreaking, but also it was like, so I'll read this. It was just, I posted the thing, I shared it, but it was like this guy, David W. Nagy, died on my daughter's birthday just recently. And it was like, yeah, David W. passed away in the ICU. It's like he suffered greatly from the ravages of COVID-19 virus and the separation from his much loved family who are not allowed at his bedside. This man leaves behind his inconsolable wife, Stacy, his 5 children, Heath, Stephanie, Heather, David, and Vicky, as well as numerous grandchildren, great children, and friends. Then finally, this is the kicker. Family members would like you to know that David's death was needless. They blame his death and the deaths of all the other innocent people on Trump, Abbott, and all of the other politicians who did not take this pandemic seriously and were more concerned with their popularity and votes than lives. Also to blame are the many ignorant, self-centered, and selfish people who refuse to follow the advice of the medical professionals, believing their right not to wear a mask was more important than killing innocent people. A statement issued by the family declared that Dave did everything he was supposed to do, but you did not. Shame on all of you, and may karma find you all.
This is
Like-
Texas, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just I mean, and that is and we can laugh and we can say but that is from an emotion of deep pain and a feeling of like complete inability to like assuage it in any way. I mean, it's just like, and then you have then I had idiots who would post, well, he was 80. I was like, who cares? What is that? He's 80. Time to go. You know,
Yeah.
just like
Take your grandpa, huh? You know, like it's like, dude, like that's what I'm saying. Like,
but I apologize.
what-
I think we
what's-
lost somebody. I think we lost Shane. Maybe I got too
Yeah,
close.
Shane.
I don't know.
but I, you know, what's interesting was I was listening to, I think it was Rogan's podcast, and he reminded me. I was like, yeah, you're right. He's like, when this first hit, he was like, we were so under this, you know, stress of like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. The numbers are gonna be bad. He's like, everybody was so nice to each other. Like everybody was so nice to each. He was like, it was all for the greater good. Like everything was like,
We're
hey
all
man, this
working
is
together.
already screwed. Like we got to be together. And it took 30 days, and then we were divided, man. We started dividing, and I hate that. Like it actually showed, not just from our leader or whatnot. I actually like put it on our states. Like all our states divided us. Like, you know, one person's watching the other person be like, hey, we're shutting down. No, we're not shutting down. Hey, we're standing firm. And it just made people start to unglue and care for other people outside of themselves, which is what we still need to do, is care about other people outside of ourselves by wearing masks. And that's lost. It's completely lost. And that's
my wife said.
We need it now more than ever.
It's like that person that said they're 80. Should we wait till their 80th birthday and go to their house and like with the lethal injection? Well, you're 80, so time to go.
It's too bad. You want to get this a feeling of it's worse than you think. Okay, the numbers in California have gone up quite a lot. Mind you, the numbers in the 6 counties around the Bay Area of San Francisco are rising, but they're not rising at a rate that we're seeing in the rest of the state. So if we match the rest of the state, it would be unbelievable. It's all pretty much Southern California at this point. If we match Southern California, literally double what we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, my sister is staying at the family lake place in like basically the middle of nowhere, Minnesota. But she has to, and she basically used all of her like ability to not, because she and her husband live in California, and they're like, yeah, we have to go back here in August, and I don't want to.
Who could blame them?
Not at all.
A lot of people are leaving California.
Didn't you see the thing with the mayor of New York was like begging all of the people from Manhattan to come back because they're all staying at their places up in the Hamptons and stuff, and
Yeah, I saw that.
he needs them all back so that they can spend money and get the economy going in New York because they're all left. I thought that was funny. My wife told me that. I about
Outlook
died.
is
I'm
not looking good, guys.
They all fled. Exactly.
On that note, I have to go pack to go say goodbye to my mom. So I'll see you guys in a week. Yeah, it does suck.
Brother, we'll talk to you next week.
Not COVID, by the way.
Good night,
not
nephew.
Not COVID related, by the way, just FYI. So I'll be on the road. I'll message you guys somehow.
All right, my best to Michelle.
Keep us posted, buddy.
All right, guys.
All right, take care, brother.
Bye.
Yeah, it's 1:15. I'm going to head out too.
Yeah, I still have work to do. And
work. It's not like there's Kickstarters going or anything.
Yeah, I should like. I'm sure I have a bunch of like Kickstarter questions I need to log in and answer.
Good discussion, everyone. No, that was some.
No, and like again, I'm sorry I lost my temper there, but I mean,
you're just making up for last week's lack of.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I mean, like the thing is that we're all in this together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
Individually, we're all in it together is the problem.
Yes.
I'm just having trouble believing that we're all in it together because of the fact that it just seems like it just seems like we're just I forget what I can't think of the characters the comedian's name offhand, but like he just said everybody's always like stunned when we when America just can't stop themselves from doing stupid things, and I tell them repeatedly, it's just like we have a proud, rich heritage of constantly voting against our best interests.
Yeah.
Sounds like George Carlin.
We are
Yeah, it
individuals,
does.
man. We are we do have the right to make individual choices, but I mean, I think I just hope that this doesn't have to get worse, or we don't have the solutions for it either. If it does get worse and worse, and then we have to worry about how we're going to take care of all these people. I work at a VA hospital. I work at a VA hospital that's pretty stressed, low on supplies, and losing morale and resources. And then the federal government, that's just not going to work well, because our president can cut that funding even more and restrict us and cuff us. I mean, that cuffs us. So I just really want people, wear a mask and make sure you give that positive vibe. And you don't even have to give facts. Just say, hey, man, think about not yourself. You might be okay. Just think about everybody else, man. Like, don't you want everybody else to be okay? And that's all. That's what I tell. That's what I tell
so hard
people.
for people to do. I don't get it.
That's all I tell people. Like, I'm like, don't you want everybody else to be okay? Like this guy, he was like, look at him. He was like, well, Jeremy, you're sitting right here with me or whatever. And I'm like, I can be next to you, but I also need to know that you actually care about me. Like, okay, we put on our mask too. You still need to care about me. Like, and I said, that's what I'm seeing less of, is people caring about the welfare of other people. That's with or without a mask right now. Like that's my problem. That's my problem. Is it just shows with or without a mask, you don't care about other people. So. And then he looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, that actually makes sense." He's like, "I do care, man." I'm like, "Yeah, wear a fucking mask."
Well, but then you have that ridiculous argument where they tell, "Oh, well, the masks don't really do anything."
Fake
and
news.
And you have those people online that are like, "Oh, here's my like secret way for you to print off your own why I can't wear a mask thing," and like some bogus
I saw that too.
You're just like, you're like working hard to try to kill people right now.
They spend more effort trying not to wear the mask than it would be to just put the stupid mask on in the first place.
We have been priming 40% of our country's population for the last 4 years to disbelieve every common bit of wisdom and advice they get from knowledgeable.
I have a question, and you
scientists.
might be the right people to ask, or maybe the people that are chatting. But
Highly dubious. But go ahead,
I have a
Kevin.
recollection of an old science fiction story set on Mars, where people were wearing masks and they used to decorate them. And some school person's president or whatever, principal, whatever, said, "No, you can't do that. You've got to put your numbers on them or whatever," and such. Does anybody remember what that story is, perchance? Because for some reason I cannot pull it out of my.
What does Google Foo tell you?
Huh?
What does Google Foo tell you?
Well, and that's the thing, is I try to look out there and I wasn't able to find anything definitive. So I'm hoping
if Lance and
somebody
Kabuki
out
doesn't
there
have it, then it doesn't
knows
exist.
it.
Yeah, I was like,
knows
Kabuki's
what I'm
probably your
talking
best bet.
about.
Kabuki would have it right away.
knows
I'm looking
everything.
down right away.
Yeah, well, here, hold on. It sounds vaguely familiar. It sounds like
I
a
know,
Ray
I'm like-
Bradbury thing to me.
It does sound Ray Bradbury.
Martian Chronicle number 13.
Mars.
I
Was
thought
it a
it was a
short
Martian
story? It was a
Chronicle,
short
but I
story,
don't know
right?
which version.
I can't add to this conversation, and I need to get to bed. I'll see you guys all next week.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Was it a short story or is it
Good
part
night,
of a novel?
Lance.
Good night, bud.
I think it was one of the novels, but I truly
It may be Blue Mars.
maybe which?
Blue Mars.
Blue
It does sound like one of the Mars Chronicles from Bradbury. Or
Yeah. I just
it's
have
been a long
this
time since I read it.
vague recollection from like 50 years ago, so it's hard to say.
Oh no, it might not be.
I just think I gave away my age a little bit.
No, I mean, it's just the problem with Google fooing any of this stuff. It is because if you type in Mars and mask and something else,
It's
this is why you have to wear a mask, and this is why
Yeah.
what this does. And
Somebody coming in? Nah, I don't see anybody
Yeah, I'm looking.
responding.
Yeah, Kabuki Kid, no go. You're lost now.
If he doesn't know, we're lost. Exactly.
Yeah. I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
okay.
like I said,
Once you said
it
it, I was
sounds
like,
like a
hopefully
Ray
it's a Twilight Zone
Bradbury thing,
episode.
but
I was like, maybe if it's a Twilight Zone episode, I might know it. But
is Bradbury old?
yeah.
Because Ken was saying.
You know, my dad is a huge Ray Bradbury fan. I'll spelunk his brain because if it was Ray, he read it. So
Yeah, I read it years ago. Like I said, probably longer than 50 years, probably in my teens.
hey, Lance, did you read Solomon Kane stuff?
Oh yeah.
You know, so they sent me this.
I was more of an
copy.
Elric guy, but yeah.
Okay.
I
just want to know. I just want to know. Like,
souls for my Lord Ariok.
So can you just give me something? Like, can you give me like a rundown of what Solomon Kane is? Cause they sent me a copy, an early kind of standee copy of the Solomon Kane, and I don't know shit about it. I just thought it looks cool. Like, I really thought it looked cool. I started listening to the stories, but I'm like, there must be some context I'm missing because it feels like it's just like The Witcher, like it was a bunch of stories. And then
so it was pulp magazines. It was created by Robert Howard, same guy who created Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
I mean, and so the reason why it kind of came back in vogue is because the statute of limitations and nobody owns it anymore because it's public domain. Okay. So that's why Solomon Kane is more of a thing. But the thing about it is that it is very like pulpy, weird tales. It wasn't classic like Conan so much. It was because Conan was like, he's I can't even think like Conan, like, Conan the Cimmerian. So it's like there was a rich Hyperborean world or whatever. Yeah. Whereas Solomon Kane was more of like his short stories were very much like weird tales, weird crazy experiments gone bad, weird crazy monsters I'm trying to remember, like, because correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like an alternate like Earth, but it was like probably like it was the equivalent of like the 1700s, right?
So it seems like that's what that time period was, and it has this thing of like, this is why I'm just trying to compare it to The Witcher in a sense, because that's the only context I'm getting close to, where it's like it's a fantasy world, but there's like this thing of like, I feel like the world is the character and he's just the guy in the world, because like he's the guy who came in a horse with no name. He's the guy who showed up to town and something's happening. And like, really it's about these, not gods, but spirits that influence him and kind of like keep him towards the light. And I just, like, when I hear the stories, I'm like, this guy is cool. Like, can somebody give me something that like, like that. I'm trying to find somebody that just like resonates with them. They're like, oh crap. Like, oh God, let me run all this down to you. Because I want to find out before I just play a game, and I don't know, for some reason I don't want the game to just tell me everything. I want for some reason to get it from somebody else. I don't know why. I just want to, or send me somewhere. I'm not going to read all these dang on.
Well, I mean, it's actually it's they're really good. I mean, like,
they are good.
They're a product of their time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was because it was set kind of in an alternate history world type of thing with like fantastic elements.
Yeah.
So it's kind of set in like the kind of like the Musketeers time, if that gives you a genre.
Okay.
Like there is like one of the very, very ever first stories I remember I read, because they're all like short like stories. Like most Conan stories are like a book. You pick up a Conan book, it isn't a big long Conan book. It's just a bunch of little short stories about Conan's adventures.
I love those kind of things.
Yeah, so like one of the biggest things was he over a course of several adventures, like he chases down this murderer that killed this woman that he knew, and so there's a wonderful story of like tracking someone down, and he actually has to go through French colonialism and go to Africa to track this guy down that ran off, and then so he travels like to like, I'm guessing it would be like early like 1900s even. God, I mean, I'm trying to remember like where it is, but it's a product of its times, so it definitely is going to not But however, I will say this: one of his
There's
best
actually
friends.
one of the first stories I actually listened to the audio of was like about some slaves being transferred. Trust me.
Well,
I know
yes.
this is-
So
as I
it
say,
definitely.
there's
You know,
actually
and I'm like, here I'm
yeah.
talking to you.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no, 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 no,
you
no,
know,
no. The first story that I clicked on that was narrated for me was I was like, okay, but I mean, but I'm not gonna like put like this. I'm not one of those people. This shit ain't problematic. It's what it was a time. It was that time. Like I'm reading a script from that time. I expect to read stuff from that time. I don't expect progressive script from that was written back then. Like
Nalonga is this African shaman that he becomes
Yes.
friends with, and who has
Yes.
great, and you know, and like so, and like that's a major character. So it was actually very, very interesting that like one of the very first things that they ever did with it is the fact that he did introduce a very powerful, very like prominent African American hero that traveled with Solomon. So you know there are those things that are pretty cool. So I mean it's but yeah, Solomon Kane is I mean I read all the old Conan pulp books. Like I would go to and like I could go to used bookstores in town when they were still around, and you could usually find them, and they charge you like 50 cents for them. And like basically, I read them so I could just steal the ideas out of them for D&D ideas. You know, that's why. But they're good stuff too. Like one of my, I mean, I think it might have been a Conan story, but it might have been a Solomon Kane story. But I remember like there's this thing where like it was, I think it was Solomon Kane, because Solomon Kane's like he's big and he's tough, but he's also smart. And like there he got into this band of like thieves or rogues, and they were like doing something, and then there was this guy within that like he showed that like he had this light sword, he had a rapier, and how like he was quick, and it was like and they actually kind of like mock dueled once, and he was like, you know, telling Solomon Kane, he's like, look, your sword is so slow, and look, I could have stabbed you through the heart there, I could have cut you down there, you know, it's like you are no match for me, you know. And Solomon just kind of does it, and then later, of course, that person turns on everybody, or there's something, and like they end up dueling, and he's like, oh, you know how this is going to end, Solomon. And the first thing Solomon does is takes his big heavy sword and just cuts the rapier in two, and just smashes it. And the guy's like sitting there holding onto a handle, and he just runs him through with his sword. And I always remember that. I was like, that's awesome. And then I remembered like in D&D, you could attack people's weapons and destroy them. And I remember like I had like a band of orcs that's what they did. The player's like, oh, my magic sword, you know, just like, it's getting destroyed. This sucks. Run from them.
I just thought this was such an interesting type of character. And when I saw the whatever those spirit things were, I was like, this seems really interesting, because you're not in the game, you're not really like fighting, you're kind of like influencing him and progressing him through these things, like trying to find his purity in a sense and get him out of situations and get his people out of situations. It's not like, hey, roll this die, attack this guy, move this guy, attack, you know, like you're trying to run from the shadows come to you, so they like weaken you, and they're trying to, like I said, it's trying to keep towards the light. I just thought that was really interesting. I don't know, like I'm really excited to play this game.
The movie that came out a few years
is
ago.
it a shitty movie? Is it a shitty movie?
No, it's not bad. I mean, it's you know, it's not you know golden age cinema by any means, but I mean it's you know, but you can probably look.
It's not just grabbing your popcorn and soda. You're like, no, you might want to pour some old E&J in there.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and type in
Yeah.
Solomon Kane on and justwatch.com, which I just found out about. If you want to stream it, you can stream it on Tubi with ads and Pluto TV with ads.
Ew.
Tubi TV. Never even heard of it.
Oh my gosh!
How many streaming titles are out there now?
What services?
Like just all the different like streaming options.
Oh, it came out in 2009, so yeah, it's gonna be tough to find. It's gonna be tough.
Thinking on every
oh gosh, it has James Purefoy in it too. You know, it's got to be.
You know, it's got to be horrible. No,
dude, it's got to be touch and go. It could be good. It could be horrible. It's gonna be close. I like that. He's just one of those actors. I just just like him because you don't know which way it's gonna go. It could be bad or it could be like okay.
It'll probably be bad.
I just like his character, like how he is. So yeah. Oh gosh, like the actors in here are just so made for this type of movie. And
Yeah, they're all over the place.
They're so all over the place. Like these people are so all over the place. Oh man, yeah. Now I gotta watch it because I'm a glutton for movies. I love movies, so I just watch
Well, it says it's in the 1600s, I guess, is now they're saying. So
this is gonna be after 2 scotches though, because this one is gonna be it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough watch. Be ready to laugh.
All right, we
all right,
said
guys.
20 minutes ago we were going to go to bed. So Shane,
Yeah,
you came back.
I'm
What
at
happened
that-
to you?
I'm at the
internet-
bewitching
internet
hour
just-
myself.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still editing. So
Well, if you're still watching this live, thank you so much. If you're still editing, is that your editing noise?
I'm still editing, dude. I'm still
Sounds
doing
like he's
editing.
opening a candy bar.
Yeah, well now I'm actually opening up something now because I
He
wanted
got a
to.
Twix in his mouth. No,
My
if you-
reward is to open something at the end of the day because I always have so much stuff to open. So I was like, I'm gonna open something today. It's kind of fun.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Go back Arcana Rising. Make my boss happy. And if you already backed it, back it again.
Yeah.
Wait, you can back it twice?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you back it 3 times, Kevin.
We'll let you throw as much money as you want at it.
Call yourself a retailer and back 5 of them or something. Who knows?
No,
I don't want to compete with the local store, so.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right.
All
All
right,
right,
guys.
everybody.
You guys later.
Good night, all.